Hello, everyone. Welcome to Big COC Energy. I am Zraitor, your keeper. Our offering for episode 12 is Crimson Letters, a scenario by Chaosium from their Keeper rulebook. I expect this one to be our first multi-episode scenario. Starring Songofbird as Virginia Delacroix, a Miskatonic librarian who did a stint in the mental hospital 2 years ago after a visit to her family home in Schenectady, New York. Her colleagues, friends, and fiancé say she has moved on from whatever happened, but she is undeniably quieter and cagier than before. EeiddKlabe as John Sanderson, an alienist quietly practicing in Arkham Sanatorium who took into his care a patient complaining about an entity inside of him. He was unable to treat his patient, and a fateful bout of mania brought into his possession an Eldritch artifact that tempts him with its powers. Introducing Eerie Lunarose as Caroline Delia Feldman, a Miskatonic alum, originally of Salem, who stuck around. She's had some commercial success working in her field. She is a published novelist under C.D. Feldman and holds a master's degree, so she sometimes guest lectures in the literature department between writing her series of occult mysteries. She's always dressed for rain, spends a lot of time in the library and eateries on campus, and seems to sometimes converse with herself. Introducing Emilia Aerowant as Arsenault de Baines, an engineer from France who believes the world can be tamed through his ability. A past brush with the mythos refused to be domesticated, however, and left him disfigured in both mind and body. The shadow of whatever force he set upon himself still haunts him as he attempts to continue his mission. Introducing Flanker as Frank Ryder, a USMC veteran born and raised in New York. Fortunately, he is still active in the Corps, although he doesn't know how long that will last. He did his best work over in France up close and personal. That is, before they all went over the top on one unfortunate day. We begin our story in the Miskatonic University, a prestigious yet mysterious institute with a rich history steeped in the arcane and the unknown. To most, it is just another place of learning, perhaps for those who can't afford to go to higher ranked colleges, but for those in the know, it hides many secrets. Five such people enter now into the administration building where the Dean of Administration, Bryce Fallon, awaits them. And as you all take a seat, we will do a very quick introduction to each character. You can describe what they look like very quickly or in detail. I'll leave it up to you. We will go in combat order. So Frank Ryder, you come in. A little description of yourself as you sit down or stand up, whatever you do.
Yeah, so he walks in. He's wearing like kind of like a neat but obviously cheap suit. As would any student. He he's pretty well built. Um, clearly when anyone looks at him, he's while they wouldn't initially think he's a veteran, maybe, like a cook or something. But yeah, there's a little bit of a weird aura with him. He's a little bit quieter in nature, and he just sits down.
And Arsenault de Baines, little description of yourself as you enter the room.
He is a shorter man wearing an older but clean suit, long, wiry brown hair, trying to cover up his balding head. His face is scarred. You may think that it's from old burns, or you're not really sure what. There's definitely still bruising. He carries himself fairly well, walks with a cane, and comes in and sits down, and just kind of regards everyone with a little bit of a French accent. Hello, how is everyone?
All right. And then Caroline Delia Feldman, a description of yourself as you enter the room.
Oh, yes, quite well, thank you. She comes in and sits down. Caroline is a small woman, small for a woman. She has mousy brown hair pulled back in a bun and some reading glasses, a big old little carpet bag that she carries with her everywhere, and she's wearing a raincoat, even though it's probably not raining right now, but she always has a raincoat and an umbrella. And she comes in and sits down and pulls out a writing tablet and a fancy pen, ready to take notes.
And the dean's eyebrow goes up as he sees your rainwear for no reason. And then Virginia Delacroix, a little description of yourself as you enter the room.
What season is it? Is it like fall, winter,
It
spring?
is October 1st, so fall.
October 1st. Okay. Then Virginia's wearing like a long woolen coat. Um, she's wearing like olive navy. She's wrapped up pretty well. She's got a scarf too. She's taller than Caroline, but she's not a tall woman by any means. She has kind of a fair olive complexion. She has wavy hair, and her dark eyes kind of peer around the room. She gives everybody a tight smile. She works at the library, so she's probably at least acquainted with a few of you. She sits down and folds her hands on her lap.
And then finally, we go to John Sanderson. A little introduction to yourself, please.
Yeah, John Sanderson is not particularly wide or tall. He's relatively average man. I'd say he's probably in the 5'10", 5'11" range. He's not like wiry, skinny, but he's also not. He wouldn't be considered overweight. He's a 50-year-old man, great hair, but he himself is kind of a homely individual. His hair has managed to avoid receding and avoid graying too badly. He's about 50 years old, but looks quite a bit younger because of that. And he carries with him a large doctor's bag, the type that kind of folds open with the handles that kind of break apart at the center to allow you open access to a large variety of tools at an instant. He sets it down with kind of a loud on the floor. He says, sorry, I have this compulsion to be prepared at all times. Just look out for that so you don't trip.
All right, that's our introduction. And Bersfon looks at everyone in the eye and he says, well, I thank you all for coming. I know you all previously from various things, and I believe you all know each other well. At least you're acquainted, I believe. Now, we have a bit of an issue, and the Miskatonic use relationship with the world is maybe at stake here, so I don't want to get any problems of this nature out. It's very sensitive. The Hobbs House Mansion. Has any of you heard of that?
That's a good question. Have I heard of it? Should I roll a history?
You may all roll history or education, yeah.
Okay. Well, my education is better, so I'm doing that. I got a 17 under 85, which is an extreme success.
You know very well. Hard success.
I got a hard success on that, so I would know quite a few things about it.
You said history or what?
Or education, although I think it's pretty much an auto success for you. You're 95.
Oh yeah. No, I've definitely heard about it. It's not nearly probably something that's entirely in my wheelhouse. I did pass, but I've probably heard of the folklore behind it.
Well, then he sees that Ryder is the only one looks a little confused, and he says, well, it's a colonial three-story house. It has a lot of dark stories around it. It's been here for quite a while in Arkham. It has a dark past, and well, there's stories. They're not important. But what is important is the family that owned it, they died. They went to distant relatives, and they want nothing to do with the property, you see, which I don't blame them. They gave it to lawyers, and these lawyers are taking care of it. Now, this was quite a boon to the university. We wanted to look into this, but I brought a man named Ryder into it. It appeared he has died. Now, there was a group of papers that was found. They're called the Witch House Papers. They were given to a man named Ryder, and he has died mysteriously after them.
He has died. And how has this happened?
Well, seems like it was a heart attack.
Oh, okay.
Although I'm keeping his body on campus, it's being looked after. We're keeping this in-house so no one knows.
Why all the secrecy?
Well, that's where we get to our issue here. These papers, they were stolen. And if these people find out, that would be quite a black mark on our reputation here.
So he was looking into the house, and then the papers were taken at his death.
Yes, and I need all of you to look into this quietly before it becomes an issue with the police, before anyone knows.
Hmm, this is strange.
Yeah.
Virginia looks at everybody around the table and says, "You've assembled an odd group. Um, is there any reason you reached out to us specifically with such a sensitive matter?"
Well, these papers they're part of that dark history I mentioned. There's all sorts of stories about witches, and people believe these are authentic. They may have actual rituals that actually work. We all live in Arkham. We know there's stories. I don't believe these stories, but there are these stories that we must all deal with living here.
Frank Ryder kind of like puts his hand up in a questioning manner. Well, sir, I don't know why you brought me along. Not the smartest one in the bunch, you see.
Well, I believe in all my students. I'm sure you can rise to the occasion, young man, as you did in the Great War.
Well, I mean, I'm not doing too well in my mechanics class. I just about. I mean, I know how to fight, but I don't see how much use I'll be.
Well, it's very possible that the people who stole this, they may be violent. Perhaps your training may be of help to these rather educated and learned individuals that we've assembled here.
Ryder puts his hand down and just nods.
And as for your mechanics class, well, there can always be help on the side given to you as part of your reward.
And if you are interested in mechanics, I am an engineer. I help to build aircraft. So we could maybe give you a little tutorage after things are done.
Yes, perhaps these people they will impart their wisdom upon you during your quest here.
It
I would
is
appreciate that.
it is much like sports. You have to play the field as it is in the group. You are strong and we're smart. So we work together.
Well, I guess I'll take that to mean we have latitude to look into anything we deem necessary then.
Absolutely, the entire university is at your disposal.
Understood.
Sounds like fun.
You said that the man's body,
Yes,
Lighter, is here on campus. Maybe we should start by taking a look at the body.
yes, forgive me. His name is Professor Charles Leiter. He's been here quite a while. He's about 40 years old, I believe. I only know him professionally. There's been some news brought to me recently that he has a problem gambling, which may or may not, that sets sorts of alarm bells off in my mind. I don't know if it sets it off in yours, but
Virginia purses her lips and thinks for a moment. She's probably familiar with Professor Lighter. She works in the library.
mhm. Yes, we're keeping his body here on the university. As I said, I will did a private autopsy, and yes, you may investigate the body if you wish. You will be allowed in.
Well, I vote we do that. I don't know about the rest of you, but I've never been much of a bounty hunter or whatever else we're going to be undertaking as a result of this inquiry. But checking out the cadaver is something I have a little bit of experience with,
Are you a medical doctor?
among other things.
This would be handy.
I can also provide you with the keys to Leiter's office and his home. And as I said, you can contact any member of the faculty if you wish.
And he was looking into the house.
Yes, he was going through all the relevant papers to see what was of value. And these witch trial papers seem to be the most valuable thing, which is why we hooked on to them.
Could someone who has a history with the house be somehow involved in this?
Well, as far as we know, everyone in the house that's of age, they're all dead. That's why it fell to this distant relative who didn't even know they had these relatives.
But the house it has been dormant, yes?
Yes,
So maybe someone who is using the house uh, without permission.
that could very well be
Just
possible.
A form of squatter, if you will.
something like this.
Virginia takes off the gloves she's been wearing, and you see she kind of nervously slides them into the pocket of her coat, and she says, "If it's fine with you, I'd rather not take a look at the house. The rest of you are free to go. But I'll stay on campus."
I think that your first suggestion, looking at the body, is the best place to start.
Well, very well, everyone. I will release you to conduct your investigation as you wish. I am here to anytime you need me, you may come to my office. And,
Virginia thanks him. He's the dean, right? What's
yep,
his name?
Bryce Fallon.
Sorry if I missed it, Keeper, but where did he say the papers were actually located at? Like, did they bring them back here to the university, or are they still at the house?
They were among the valuables they found in the house. They were assigned to Professor Leiter, then they went missing after he died.
So we just know that they exist, but nobody knows where they are at the
Yes, and
moment.
your job is to find these papers.
Okay. Do we all want to go see Professor Leiter's body?
Yeah, it seems like a good idea if it's here to do that first.
Yes,
Well,
very
going.
much so. At least get to observe.
Well, let's head there. I know the way. And John will head toward the whatever morgue area that they have on site here for cadavers and whatnot for medical students, I would assume. And we'll speak to whoever's at the. I'm sure they don't just let people walk in, so speak to whoever's kind of signing people in and out.
Yes, this would be the medical school's facilities. It's open to most students, and it's been open to the party, of course. You find that it lies in the bowels of the Miskatonic University Medical School. It's locked in cold storage. And as you enter, you see this man. You see an utterly watery-eyed and walrus mustached man, somewhere on the wrong side of 60, with too much skin and not enough flesh. And he eyes you with nervous looks in his eyes.
Good
Yes.
evening.
I mean, what may I do for all of you?
Well, we'd like to be admitted into the morgue area to look over one of the bodies. We've just spoken with the dean, Bryce Belland, and he's, of course, given us permission to explore as we please.
All right, you're the people he hired or asked. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, something like that. I suppose I just want to, in the interest of gathering all the information, I figure this is the most convenient place to start.
Yes, I guess it would be as it's right here, and weird things have been happening. I don't know. I'm a little worried.
Could you explain more about that, please?
Um, you just see him kind of go quiet after he says that. I'm not sure it would be appropriate.
We
How
are
about
on an investigation, sir.
that's what
Any information that you believe is relevant would be very helpful to us. She gives him a kind of a she gives him a smile.
Even if you don't believe it's relevant.
Well, it's not quite that. Someone give it persuade.
Uh, I can do it, but I feel like maybe Virginia was kind of the lead on that one.
Yeah, I'll take Virginia's persuade.
Could I do charm?
Yeah, you do charm.
Yeah, I feel like that was more of a charm roll. Okay, not quite.
He kind of just looks at you. He's like, "No, I'm sorry, Virginia. I see you in the library quite often, don't I?
Yes, yes.
You're a real nice woman, but I'm sorry. I don't know. We'll just stick to business, I guess. Well, you're allowed to look at the body if you wish, but I don't know.
Well, I'm sure these things you mentioned will come to light at some point in our investigation. We may ask you about these things later if you don't feel comfortable sharing them now. Thank you very much.
All right, he leads you all to the body. He pulls it out, and you see Leiter's face is a screaming visage of horror, frozen in agony and terror at the moment of his death. His eyes are swollen, whitish gray masses of colorless, clotted tissue. And I'm gonna need a sanity roll for everybody.
This is what I like. Beautiful. I got a 9 under 59.
I'm pretty sure I failed. Yeah, 44 over 42.
I rolled a 30 under 50.
I
Should be good.
failed.
Okay. Everyone who failed needs to do 1d4. Everyone who succeeded is fine. You didn't take any damage.
I've seen dead bodies before.
Virginia just kind of covers her mouth for a moment, and she turns to John Sanderson and says, Mr. Sanderson, this is not normal for heart attack victims for their faces to freeze, is it?
Well, it can depend. I've definitely seen people with a form of rigor mortis in the face and limbs that sometimes appears to be abject terror, but not necessarily something that always happens. My concern are these fleshy nodules here, as you can see around the eyes.
Yes, now I see him.
Well, I think it's prudent for John Sanderson to make some kind of a medicine roll because I basically want to find out if like this guy actually has signs of a heart attack or not. I also want to know if someone's done an autopsy or if he's just been sitting down here chilling. No pun intended.
Yep, go ahead and roll it.
Okay, whew, I got a 57 under 60.
This man did not die of a heart attack. No way.
Okay, awesome. Does he have any obvious like wounds to the body, or is it something else that's internal?
It's purely internal.
Okay. This man does not appear to have died of a heart attack.
And yes, an autopsy was performed on him. He just been
Okay.
sewed back up and all that.
I don't believe him to have had a heart attack. No, that's if you look here, the coloration on the skin is a bit too abnormal.
Arsenault would kind of shrink back away from this. He rolled pretty poorly, and he would ask the gentleman who led them here, "Is there things that came with him?"
As you ask that, you just see him looking around nervously. Seems to be looking back at the hallway.
Hey, bud, what are you hiding, man?
Can I get a listen roll
Yeah.
from everybody?
A listen roll.
Yeah.
Listen. Shit. What is my listen? 35.
Oh,
Fail.
I'm very lucky tonight,
on the listen roll.
as did I.
Okay. Yeah, out in the hallway, you all hear footsteps. And that's what you can clearly see. That's where his eye is gone to.
I think upon hearing that, Caroline comes out of like a dead freeze because she was definitely not expecting that body to be the way it was.
Mhm.
And she says, "What's going on here? What is that? I know you hear it."
Outside. Someone's outside. Out in the hallway. Doctor, are you expecting anyone?
No.
I think that you better tell us what's going on here as far as you know it.
I'll go check it out.
Just as well. I'm going to continue to kind of look over the body and try to determine if there's any other logical medical cause for his death, or if it truly is just mysterious circumstances.
Ryder's gonna go. He's gonna ask whoever heard the footsteps where it was, and he's gonna go where he's pointed.
All right.
I can.
Yeah.
I'll tell him where the sound is coming from.
All right. Ryder, you investigate out in the hallway, and there's nothing there.
Caroline just has this guy pinned with like a very intense look.
Mhm.
And she's like, "We're here to save everyone's jobs and everyone's reputation, including yours. That's what the dean hired us for. Are you going to tell me what's going on here or not?"
Roll your persuade.
That is a success.
All right, but you have to not tell anyone about the true state of this body, please.
Of course not. We're here to be discreet.
I would like to be rid of it as soon as possible. Anyways, no, I don't believe in the supernatural. It's utter nonsense. I don't care if it's Arkham, but yeah, that's been happening a lot. There's footsteps in the hallway. Every time I go over there, there's nobody there.
So do you
Let out
believe?
the door. So there wasn't anyone, really? She asks the people who went out in the hall.
No, there wasn't, man.
Well, it sounds to me like most of us heard it, so I think we can write off the idea that it's just some kind of hallucination on your part, sir. I think maybe you do well to consider the possibilities instead of coming to predetermined conclusions. As you can see, the evidence doesn't support your thesis.
Well, look, I've been told to. Okay, guys, this is a cover-up. I was told to stay quiet. Obviously, you didn't die of a heart attack or seizure or anything. I was just told to cover it up.
By who?
Well, by the dean, of course. He's just doing his
No.
best to protect the school.
You are telling this to the newspapers and whatnot.
No
That is fine.
newspapers. No.
Well, to whoever is asking. But you can tell us what you know, what the truth is.
I suppose. You all really want to know. I don't. Something's really wrong. I understand information's over. I'm sorry. This is fine. I will give you my autopsy report.
Excellent.
Thank you.
But obviously, as I said, you have to keep this all to yourselves.
Arsenault is still interested in, because obviously the most likely, I would assume, the body is naked. So Arsenault would still be interested in looking at any of the man's possessions.
Yeah, none of his possessions are there.
Could you give me a copy of this report, please?
And he hands this to you, the autopsy report that he did.
Alrighty. I will place that safely away in my doctor's bag. I will seal it inside of an envelope as soon as I get the opportunity, perhaps on some school letterhead or whatnot, in order to just make it appear innocuous. Then I'll suggest that we move on.
So it says he had his clothes, but there wasn't anything else with him? Nothing in his pockets? You checked?
Yes, we checked and no. There was nothing odd. There was nothing to explain this death. Nothing explain the look on his face. I've never seen anything like this in all my years.
What role is it to determine if someone's telling me the truth or not?
Psychology.
Psychology? Okay. I definitely don't have that.
Well, the logical thing to do would be to go to his office. That was the last place he drew his breath. Maybe he has assistants. Can answer some questions for us.
That makes sense.
Sounds like a logical next step. I am in agreement. Should we hail a taxi?
But
Unless
it's
his office
on
It's on
His office
campus.
should be,
campus,
yeah.
right?
Okay, so we don't do that.
Don't worry, if it rains, I have an umbrella.
If we need to get somewhere, I have a car and probably borrow one.
Now, let me just read the proper autopsy results that Wecroft would have told you when he handed that. He would have said, the basic results as found by Wecroft are that Ryder suffered a massive heart attack, causing almost instantaneous death. In addition, the body suffered violent muscular spasms and, by some means, severe thermal damage of the optic tissues, akin to the effects of boiling the vitreous matter, cause unknown. Simultaneous organ failure occurred all over the body, and even his gut flora are dead, which is slowing the rate of decomposition. None of this is in any way normal or explainable by any outside cause.
So, doctors, he says with like a tone of, "Are you doctors? I can't fucking tell." He goes, "Where to next, doc?"
Well, I agree with the lady's assessment that we should head to the office. Seems like the next logical place, and hopefully somewhere where we can gather a good deal of information before we need to leave campus.
All right, then you all make your way across the university to where the faculty offices are. And Ryder's office on the campus is a small affair, a single desk, some filing cabinets, and a fireplace. You had the key to get in. There was no issues.
Virginia's going to say, if you wish to take a look around the office, go ahead. I'm going to try to find any of his assistants or secretaries.
I mean, as you say that, you notice that there is another door in there, and from it opens, and a woman appears. She looks very intense. She's wearing restrained clothes that would downplay her good looks, and she looks at all of you and says, "Well, hello, I'm Emilia Court." It's not hard to imagine you're all looking into the death of Professor Ryder.
Yes, indeed. Pleased to meet you. Sorry about the circumstances.
Well, these things happen.
Are you going to be all right now that you don't have someone to secretary for? Will you be, will the university find you an alternative job?
Well, I'll always find something. can't say I really liked Professor Ryder. He was, he had some issues.
Most of us do.
Well, he
And
liked to.
what kind of issues?
Well, he thought he was, the charmer, the ladies' man. He made a couple passes at me, but I made it clear that wasn't going to work.
He fancied himself a playboy.
Yes, he does.
Virginia smiles and she says, he made some passes at me until I showed him my engagement ring.
Ah,
And
good
she
for you.
points to her engagement ring. And do you happen to know if any of the women reciprocated his advances?
Not on campus, I don't believe, no.
Do you have a some log of the things that he was doing on the day of his death?
Well, he would have been working on the Hop House papers, I presume.
And did he receive any visitors or maybe phone calls?
No, not to my knowledge.
Excellent, good.
Virginia is going to turn to her and say, what do you know about the Hobhouse papers?
Well, you know what we were working on here. They were part of the witch trials and all that. I was helping him catalog everything. He didn't really let me look at them. He would just send me on random research assignments. Sometimes I think he was just trying to get me out of the office. I don't know.
Interesting.
Could
He didn't let you look at them, but did you look at them anyway?
I did not know. I only saw that they did indeed exist.
and there is maybe some notes that you took on the things that you researched, or maybe that are still in his office.
Well, she looks and she shows the fireplace, and you see that there were the papers that have been burned. Yeah, he was giving me the runaround, I have to say. I mean, he would use me in official capacities, but it's clear he did not want me here.
I'm going to take a look at the fireplace. Is there just ashes in the fireplace where the burned papers are?
There is a paper there. It
Okay.
does appear like everything had burned.
And why were the things burned?
Well, that would be the question, isn't it? What was Lighter really doing? That is
I
what
can read
Virgin.
that.
Okay.
I can read the paper now. 9/11/1920.
Oh, it's 26. I didn't change the handout things.
Oh, it's 26?
Yeah.
Someone broke into and stole my cottage while I was at work. I'll make sure to improve the security by changing the locks and putting some bolts in the doors and windows. 9/17/1926. I believe something happened to Hunter. I found him completely freaked out in his studio. I had to commit him to the sanitarium. Poor fellow. 9/17/1926. The documents are gone. Where did that Fopdoodle put them? 9/19/1926. I cannot take it anymore. There is someone following me. I'm in danger. I should run away while there's still time. I'm going to turn to Emilia and I'm going to ask, do you know who's Hunter?
No, I've never heard of Hunter.
Is this the professor's handwriting?
Yes, I can confirm that.
So he burned his own notes and possibly, well, maybe not the original papers. It seems maybe they disappeared.
Highly unlikely he would have burned the papers, I would say. I think he was just trying to cover his tracks, and he did a very poor job of it, seems.
Unless someone else was trying to burn his notes.
That's possible.
Did he seem very agitated and fearful?
Oh, yes. Towards the last couple of days, he was very, very agitated and annoyed. I just stayed away from him most of the time.
Exactly how much of his day would you estimate he spent here versus out and about, perhaps at the colonial home?
I don't believe he ever went back to the colonial home after we got the original documents. We took everything of worth, and there's no reason to return. And as for, well, he'd come and go as he pleased.
And the things of worth, was it just the papers?
Yes, the hobhouse, when we went there to catalog everything, it was in terrible, terrible condition. There's really nothing much there other than these papers. We were quite lucky to find them.
Were they hidden away somewhere?
To that, I do not know. The Professor Lighter found them himself.
Well, let's have a look around his office and hope that we find something.
Give me a spot hidden. Anyone's doing that?
Yeah, I think I'm going to poke around too.
Frank's gonna help.
Nope. 90 over 40.
Pass.
That's a fail.
I believe it was just Frank who passed. Yes, Frank, as the rest of you don't find anything. Frank, as you're looking around the room, you go towards a mirror. There's a desk and there's a mirror. And as you're poking around, you see behind the mirror that something has fallen there. And this is that. You find a matchbox with Hibbs Roadhouse on it.
Hey, Doc, I think I got something.
Oh, let me take a look.
He hands it to him.
Oh, good find.
You said it was some papers?
A Hibbs Roadhouse. It's a matchbox.
All right. I flip it open, see how many matches are in there, and kind of look on the front and the back to see if there's anything written or any other information, like an address.
It has the address, yes. And we'll say a few matches are missing, but otherwise it's full.
Excuse me, ma'am. Was Charles Leiter ever known to smoke cigarettes or a pipe, perhaps?
Not to my knowledge. I've never seen that.
All right, that makes sense. Thank you.
There's not many missing. I mean, I suppose he could have just used them to light the fire.
I'm in agreement with you on that one, which is interesting, but I hesitate to jump to any conclusions based on that alone.
Well, it seems we have a few leads to follow. We can look into the gentleman Hunter in the sane asylum. We can go to this restaurant, see if he was a regular or if something more nefarious in his visit there. We can go to his cottage. Clearly, someone was trying to break in and find something. Maybe they left a clue. So we have a few things to poke at. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe we could make better use of our time and split different ways.
Yes, I think that this makes sense. Maybe the doctor could go to into the asylum with someone's help. I would be happy to go, and others could go to the other two locations. Huh?
I wouldn't mind looking at the house. I'd prefer not to go to this cocktail lounge. She
I
kind of wrinkles her nose.
A lounge. I think it would be an interesting experience. I'd be happy to go. Would you go with me, Frank?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I certainly wouldn't want to go alone. Even
It's
though
a good idea.
And as you're all talking, Emilia Cord busts it. It says, were you all told about Professor Roach?
No. Who is Professor Roach?
He was tasked to look into what Leiter was doing originally, I believe.
By
After
whom?
By the dean?
you mean after the death?
Yes.
But there was not much left for him to look at, but you might as well speak with the gentleman.
And as you're
Assuming that's possible, is he also in the morgue?
in the morgue? What do you mean?
Well, you just
Well,
said it in such a way. Is there something we should know about Professor Roach?
Frank snickers at the joke.
Well, Professor Roach always had a problem with Leiter. He was often passed over for him. I believe he was passed over, in fact, for the witch trial papers to look into this stuff.
Maybe he should count his blessings.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, look what happened to Ryder.
This burnt piece of paper, he was clearly being targeted because of something. This is no coincidence.
And as you say that, the phone starts to ring?
Her phone or the phone on the professor's desk?
The phone on the professor's desk.
Does
If
she?
she does,
You should answer that, Miss Cork.
if she doesn't go to pick it up, Arsenault will.
She gives you a strained look and she doesn't answer it.
Arsenault will pick it up. Hello?
All you hear is very quiet whispers.
Hello? You'll have to speak up. I'm not so good at hearing.
And the phone is on a desk by a mirror, and then you hear a loud bump smashes the mirror to pieces in front of you.
Arsenault kind of like startles and puts the receiver down as
Yeah,
he
can you
looks
give a
at the
quick sanity
broken.
check?
Sure. Was there anything other than the
just
whispers?
Oh,
What other than the whispers? Was there anything else that he was hearing?
All you heard was very strange and quiet whispers. They made no
All right.
sense whatsoever.
Do we all make a sanity check or just
I'll just say
just
him because
Arsenault?
he was the one
Okay.
involved.
By the
The mirror
skin of
just
my
right in
teeth.
front of all of us, right? Like for no apparent reason.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
there's just a loud bump, and then the mirror shattered in front of everybody.
With a pass, do I take any?
Nope, you take no damage. You shook it off.
Mhm.
Virginia is going to kind of take a step backwards. What on earth?
It was just whispers on the phone. What happened to the mirror?
I don't know, it just broke. I mean, I'd rather have a feeling that the unquiet spirit of poor Professor Latcher's been trying to tell us something. I could be wrong.
Or some other spirit, maybe.
Well, let's hope not.
With the phone sitting on the not on the hook, would it start eventually beeping, or would there be any other like static on the line?
I say it just went dead after the mirror was smashed.
Um, Arsenault will replace it. And, I think we all have the places that we are interested in going. Do was it Virginia? Were you planning on going to the house alone?
She kind of looks around the room and says, "Well, it wouldn't hurt to have someone with me."
Well, ma'am, as I see it, two of the gentlemen are going to the asylum. Myself and Miss Caroline are going to the roadhouse. I figure it wouldn't be best if you go to the house alone. Perhaps you could come with us to the roadhouse, or with the
Yes, you could.
gentleman to the asylum.
You could stay outside and you could be the lookout. And if we spook someone out and they go running, then you can tell us who it was.
I was actually going to suggest that perhaps Mr. DeBain accompany Virginia, Miss Delacroix, to the home. I don't believe I'll need an escort at the asylum.
That also works.
Then you all hear Emilia Clark. She speaks up after shaking that off and says, well, I would go with the young lady. I wouldn't mind. I mean, it's just the Hob house. I can help her look around and satisfy her curiosity while you all do what you're doing.
Oh, if it's not too much trouble.
I would enjoy getting out of this place, especially after that.
You're just as a point. She was planning on going to the professor's cottage, not to the Hob house.
Oh, I thought I heard the Hob house. I apologize.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I'd be going to the professor's cottage, yes.
Lynn, pardon me, but yes, I'm still going to go with you.
Thank you, Miss Court.
All right, so who wants to start? We wish to do the roadhouse scene first or be silent?
Yeah, I vote Roadhouse scene first.
There you
All right.
go. It might be the quickest.
Caroline, you arrive. I guess somebody said they had a car. I believe Frank said he had a car earlier, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be like the best, but
Oh, that's fine.
he would have bought it after the when he got back from the war with all the pay and whatnot.
Carolyn just seems impressed you have a car.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, I bought it from a buddy. He lost his leg, so he couldn't really drive very well.
Well, that's a shame. Well, maybe you can drive him around sometimes then.
No, he killed himself a while back.
Oh dear. Oh.
Or I'll do that to you. And he when Frank says this, he doesn't say it with like a cold hardness. He says it with a grim sort of just it is what it is sort of deal.
Well, for whatever it's worth, I'm glad you're still here, dear.
Yeah, well, not so sure myself sometimes.
All right, the car pulls up after the conversation, and you are in front of Hibbs Roadhouse, which is a raucous but reasonably upmarket establishment on the edge of Arkham. It's pretty much an open secret that it caters to the illicit drinking needs of the university town. The establishment is split into two, soft juice and coffee bar. And as I said, you all know the coffee bar is where the illegal acts as a front, and behind that is the legal liquor is served. And you may investigate how you wish.
Frank pulls up to the parking lot and he opens the door for Miss Caroline.
Oh, thank you. Oh, nice. Well, this looks lively.
Yes, ma'am. Do me a favor. Just wait a moment, please. And he goes to the trunk of the car. And he opens it, and there's not a lot. There's suitcases. He opens a suitcase and he kind of just pulls out his 1911, just tucks it into small of his back.
Oh, we're doing that, are we? Because she's been watching you with like intense
Mhm.
interest. She takes out like a little box from her ridiculous carpet bag and she opens it and she takes her little derringer and she loads it with bullets and she puts it
Ma'am.
really reaches.
I'm sorry if you got the wrong impression. With country being what it is now,
Yes,
any
we're just
place with
being
liquor.
prepared, right? Just being prepared.
Yes.
Yes, no, I put it so that it's ready in an easy reach in my purse.
Yeah. Well, I figure my side piece would suffice. Don't really want to pull out old Barry yet, and he pats the bottom of the trunk, and it sounds hollow. You would assume it's like a false bottom. Kind of winks at you and closes the trunk.
Well, I hope we don't have any trouble, but if we do, I'm very glad you're here. Shall we?
Lead away, ma'am.
Caroline walks up to the coffee bar.
All right, and what is your plan to, like, what are you even looking for in here?
I think the first thing to do is to just go up to the bar and order a beverage, but just coffee, nothing illegal.
Coffee is placed in front of you.
How busy is it right now at this time of day?
I'd say it's actually pretty busy today. There's a lot of conversation around you.
And just generally, what does the clientele look like? Is it mostly just people from the university or
Yeah, it's predominantly, young 20 somethings. Looks like college people.
who looks to be in charge? Is there anyone around other than the waiter slash bartender?
No, it's just the man behind the counter who gave you the coffee.
What's Frank doing?
He's just sitting next to the door, or he's standing rather next to the door, just watching.
So Caroline um drinks a little bit of the coffee and then gestures again to like the waiter, the bartender behind the counter, and is like, um, I was wondering, I was told about this place by a an acquaintance of mine, Professor Leiter. Have you seen him in here very recently?
Yeah, we don't get many professors in here, but I'm pretty sure the one that comes in is named Professor Leonard. Why do you inquire?
Well, just it's terrible. We're sort of here because he passed away recently, and I'm kind of coming here in his honor to check it out because it was his recommendation. But did he often, meet with others here? We'd like to. We're arranging, you know, his affairs and whatnot, and we wanted to make sure that everyone knew where to come and, you know, celebrate his life and his work and all of that.
He died. That's a shame to hear.
Yes,
He'd
he passed
often,
recently.
well, you would often meet up with the woman here that comes in here. I believe her name is Lucy Stone.
Oh, well, yes, she may not have heard. If they mainly met here, you said he hasn't been here that recently?
It's been a couple days, I suppose.
Okay. Have you seen Lucy since then?
Well, she's in here most every day. If you wait around, I'm sure she'll appear.
Oh, okay. And what does she look like?
Well, I gotta say she's quite the looker.
Yes, okay, but dark hair, light, tall?
Oh, she's what do you call it? A bottle blonde.
Ah, okay. Well, if I don't catch her and we're still here waiting, if you see her, please point her out to me. We do want to make sure that, that she knows, especially if she was close with him. It would be terrible if she wasn't aware. And it would be better if it came from someone else who knew him.
Yeah, it's all right.
Thank you.
So is that the plan? You're gonna wait for Lucy?
Yes, I will go tell Frank what I've just learned.
Okay, I don't want to make the other players wait so long, so we'll
Yeah.
move over to the asylum.
Alrighty. John Sanderson is going to roll up to the asylum. I assume by taxi cab of some sort, unless the Arkham Asylum is next door, in which case then I'll walk. But I'll head.
Can we start? I'm pretty sure I wrote this character that he works there. Is he's an alienist?
Okay, so I thought we were at the school. I work at the asylum. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Arkham Sanatorium. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, I head to work and I go to the I go to the reception area and I just I nod to the person there. Good evening. Back again, just to check on a few things.
Oh, Mr. Sanderson, I didn't know you were in today.
Yes, I'm not supposed to be, but some things have arrived on my plate, and um, well, is there anything I can do for you since I'm here?
Let's say it's a young woman, maybe early 20s behind there that works as a secretary and stuff. And says, well, no, as you're off work today, so I don't have anything for you.
Well, I'm just going to stop in and visit a patient. I won't be long.
And I
I
assume
appreciate.
Arsenault's behind you, right? Or there?
Yes, yeah, I'm here.
She's kind of eyeing you because you have your disfigurements. So I'm just looking at you kind of worried. And who are you accompanied by today, Mr. Sanderson?
This is Mr. Devane. It's not polite to stare.
And she kind of just snaps back at you and says, of course, Mr. Sanderson.
Well, let's get going. I will. I'll see you again Monday, I'm sure.
He's like, and where are you going? Do you?
We're heading to visit a patient. It looks like he's in Ward C over here. I don't know if you work with him. It's a man named by the name of Hunter. He's not one of my normal individuals, but a connection at the university. Long story short, has put me on the trail. So he may have some relevant information.
Oh, Mr. Hunter. Okay. Well, good luck.
No worries. I appreciate you showing us the way there. Thanks. Or give me a map, whatever the case may be.
I imagine the information is there. It is your doctor. You could just look it up.
Alrighty. Well, Mr. Devane, let's get to it, I suppose.
Yes, please lead the way.
And I'll head toward Hunter. Is he like in a communal area? Is he like padded room?
No, the information told you that he's by himself, he's straitjacketed, and he's under observation.
Alrighty. I head toward his location, and I assume I will speak to whoever's doing the observation, unless of course they're in like a separate room of some kind. If they're at the entrance, then
Yeah, we'll say a colleague of yours is there. I'll just give him the name Dr. Johnson. It's funny because you had the same thing. Dr. Johnson. He's there with a pen and a paper, and he looks up and sees you. I didn't know you were in today.
No, I'm not. Normally, I try to separate my private life from work, but it appears as though the two have found themselves intermixed today. Could you, I mean, I suppose we should start at the beginning.
Yes.
How long have you been observing Mr. Hunter here?
I believe he has been in here since September 17th.
Great. Have you been doing most of the observation, or you've been cycling?
Yes, it's a rather hopeless case. He's very difficult to speak with.
Yes, I would imagine so. Um, what, if anything, has he spoken about?
Well, certain things trigger him. We're still figuring out what those words are. We know he suffered a profound nervous breakdown, and unbelievably, he chewed through the tendons on the back of his own hands.
Lovely.
That's why he's in the straitjacket, as you see there, Doctor.
Sure, health and safety and all that. Have we nailed down any of the triggering topics or words? I'd like to avoid those.
Not quite. Sometimes he speaks about rats and walls, which we're not really sure that there was nothing like that where he was found, as we believe.
Well, yes. Could be childhood trauma. Who knows?
Yes, it's going to take quite a while, this one. He's responding well to medicine, though.
Yes. Behaviorally, or
It seems to calm him, except for the triggering words and topics, as I said.
understood. When's the last time he had his medication, if I may ask?
It's been a few hours. He should be safe to speak with, because that's why you're here.
Okay. Well,
May I, if you don't mind,
Oh,
do you apologize? My name is.
I didn't see you there, which he kind of looks at him down.
I can hide behind things, and I know I'm quite small.
Yeah.
The young man. Do you know who it was that brought him here? Who admitted the patient?
Yes, he was admitted by his former tutor, Professor Charles Leiter.
Ah, okay. And nothing was said when he was admitted.
No, he was in quite a state. He could barely speak.
Hmm. Excellent. Thank you.
Yes, good observations, Mr. Bain. Let's step inside. Be be careful. Of course, if he lashes out, don't attempt to restrain him. Simply get yourself to safety.
I will stay in the back of the room.
And if possible, I guess we'll enter the room.
All right, as you all enter, then we will kick over to what Virginia is doing.
Okay, okay.
You were going
So
to Lydra's
Emilia and I are
cottage.
approaching
Yes.
approaching the cottage.
Yes, thank you.
I'm guessing we have the key to the front door.
Yes, you were given the key by the dean. It's a
Okay, then.
small. It's a very nice little place. And you see in very many of these homes owned by the faculty members.
Um, as we walk there, I'm gonna try to gather just some more information about him. I'm gonna, just through conversation, I'm gonna ask Emilia
Hmm.
how long she's been working with him.
Well, I've been working with him ever since the Hob House stuff. I was appointed to be his, assistant. It's been a few months, I suppose.
Would you know anything about his house? It says there was a break-in.
You can kind of see she recedes a little, but doesn't answer.
Is that a no?
That's a social roll. That is. You can tell she's holding something back.
Right. Let's see. I'm gonna I'm just gonna smile and say, well, there's no shame if you drop by every now and then. It
Oh,
wasn't.
oh, it's nothing like
No, I'm
that.
not accusing you of anything. I just want to know what we're walking into.
All right, give me a
I give her another
persuade.
smile. Just kind of a charm roll.
Sure. I believe charm rolls for her are hard, as she has very high charm skill herself.
Okay. Okay. Looks like a success.
All right. She kind of softens and all right, you're trying real hard, and I guess if it's just us. I did remember I held a few things back. This is very strange. Remember there was a receipt for a change of locks on his desk one day that disappeared, which with everything now, obviously that's put into a new light. And I did overhear him on the phone. Sometimes he would talk to someone at the Hibbs Roadhouse. I believe a woman named Lucy. Seemed like he was putting his charms on her, and she was falling for it.
Hmm. Well, thank you for opening up, Miss Cord.
Oh, you're welcome. I don't know how helpful any of that is. It doesn't seem pertinent.
Okay. And we arrive at the house.
Hmm.
We walk in. I'm going to try to take a look at like a study or an office area.
Yep, you find his desk, and it's cluttered with all manners of papers.
All right. I guess does he have like a bookcase? Like a small library or anything in his home?
Yeah, he does.
Okay. I'm gonna suggest that I'm gonna ask if Emilia can look through notes on his desk, and I'm gonna take a look through the books on a shelf to see if I can find anything interesting, anything out of place, anything that might be related to witch trial papers.
All right, you find all sorts of books of history and learning and a few odd occult books, but there's really nothing special here.
Okay.
Amelia, however, she's holding papers in her hands.
What did you find there, Miss Court?
I think I better just hand this to you. Firstly, I found this. Seems to be a receipt of some kind, which that is a lot of money, Virginia.
Atlantic City.
That is a lot of money. He seems to owe.
$5,000 for casino tokens.
I see. It
You weren't
appears.
wrong. $5,000. How can somebody spend $5,000 at a casino?
That is incredibly reckless.
Perhaps the break-in was someone trying to collect. This was checkout date. Yes, it all lines up.
I see. And then I found that receipt I was speaking of earlier, just to back up my story, I suppose. The use it would be to you. You definitely did change the locks in here.
Safes, locks, and padlocks. Express keychain. 912.
So do you think somebody killed him for the money, or
Who else knew about these Salem papers?
Professor Roach knew about them? I knew about them. The dean knew about them. That should be all that I'm aware of.
Hmm. And maybe our friends who visited the asylum will tell us something about Hunter. He's probably connected to this too. I think that our next visit should be to Professor Roach. Hopefully he can clear some things up for us.
Yes, although he's quite well, you'll see. She just kind of laughs to herself.
No, 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 dear, tell me.
He
He hasn't come,
has
he hasn't come around the library much.
he has a very poor opinion on women.
Uh, well,
I stay around. I stay away from him as much as possible. It's very easy to see why he was often passed over for Professor Leiter.
Well, maybe we could get Frank to go with us so he doesn't get any wrong ideas. He's a
Hmm,
tough guy.
I suppose that would work. And then,
Okay.
I guess we'll.
I'm gonna take a look around the rest of the house.
Okay. And what are you looking for? Anything specific, or just looking around?
Well,
If you want to do a spot
how
hidden,
about
or
his how about his bedroom?
yeah, his
Could you
bedroom looks. It appears to be undisturbed. There's
I'm gonna do a spot hidden in the bedroom. I have a feeling that might be something up there because it kind
yep.
of
Go
has
for it.
this sordid kind of sex life, it seems like. What is my spot hidden? It's
Hmm,
40. Okay. I got a hard success.
a
Hmm.
hard success. Well, I was going to insist on a hard success, and you got it. Yeah, you poke around, and it seems behind it one of the there's other shelves in there, bookshelves, we'll say, and it's very well hidden back there. But there's a locked safe.
Hmm. Miss Court, I'm gonna shout.
She enters the room. Did you find something?
I'm gonna show her the safe.
Ooh. And
You may find answers in you may find answers in the safe.
how do you plan on cracking it?
I'm gonna take a look at the safe's locks and padlocks, express keychain. I'm gonna take a look and see if there's anything about a safe on here. It doesn't look like there is.
Nope. It's like the dial safe. We need the combination.
She says, "Well, I'm happy to say I don't know anyone who can crack a safe, but we may want to bring this up to the others.
Yes, I'm sure between all of us we can figure out how to get through this damn safe.
Is there anything else you can think of, Miss Court?
I wish I could. No.
Well, you've been very helpful. Maybe we should go, I don't know, where would be a place to wait and meet up with the others?
I mean, I didn't really set a plan where to meet up at.
Yeah, let's
I,
say that we agreed to.
I mean, just assume the university seems the easiest.
Yeah, there's probably a cafe nearby the university we all
Cafeteria.
agreed
Yeah.
to meet up at, and so we're just gonna go there.
Okay. Then we will flip back to our Hibbs Roadhouse crew. I believe we're waiting for Miss Stone. You've been sitting there maybe an hour.
Yeah, at this point people have just like mistaken Frank for like the bouncer. Because he's been sitting at the front door and he's just like, okay, yeah, I guess this is the bit now.
Caroline brings you a coffee.
Cool, that makes me even more of a fucking chauffeur. Thanks. Out of character. In character it says, well, thank you, miss.
And then eventually, you do see a good-looking, well-made young woman in her mid-20s, maybe. Definitely a peroxide blonde, and she's definitely swaying her hips. She's trying to get attention. And she walks past you and gives you the eye, Frank. She looks at you. And who would you be?
Uh, Boys back in the war used to call me Sarge, but you can call me Ryder anytime.
Oh, Ryder, I see. She touches you on the shoulder. What would a boy like you be doing in a little hole like this?
Well, just doing some work, ma'am, for university. I'm just here driving Miss Caroline around.
And she looks around, and who's Miss Caroline?
Uh, that would be her, and I point out Caroline. Like not point, but like nod to her.
Hmm.
Hello, hello.
Charmed, I'm sure. And she returns her gaze back to Frank. And what is this work you're doing?
Just settling the affairs of a professor
A,
from
a professor?
Miskatonic.
They see that
Yeah,
gets their attention. What professor is this?
Charles Letter. Yeah, I said that. Professor Charles.
You know Professor Charles Leiter?
No, not personally, but we're just settling his affairs.
Settling is what now?
So
His
you know him, miss? Are you Lucy?
Yes, I'm Lucy Stone.
Oh,
Hello.
good. I'm glad we found you.
You were
We
looking for me?
yes, we were looking for, the friends and associates of Professor Leiter to make sure that they got told by someone who was friendly and who knew him well. I knew him a little bit, not much. Um, I'm more of a literature person, but he passed away tragically very recently, and they were
Eh,
good enough to let us know that you were particular friends, and we wanted to make sure that you were aware.
Excuse me, he died?
Yes, I'm afraid so, dear.
How so? He was fine. He didn't have any problems.
Well, I'm afraid he had a heart attack. It can happen to anyone.
He didn't have any health problems.
No, there wasn't any known issues, but these things can come on suddenly. Um, it could have been caused possibly by stress.
Stress? Well,
Under stress? You seem to know him well.
well, of course I know. We've been together for a while. I'm his gal.
Sure, sure. Did he seem
You,
stressed the last
you
time?
hear an audible gulp from Frank. Almost fucking spits out his coffee. Like,
You okay there, Frank?
hmm
Is,
Well, it's not
did
polite of
he?
me to speak of his affairs, now is it?
Well, I mean, we are looking into dealing with them all on behalf of the university. We're handling things, so we were told to be discreet about anything that, wouldn't look the best. You can tell us. It would be good to know if there was a reason that this came on.
It's possible I know a thing or two. She's very withdrawn and consider kind of biting her lip, maybe we go somewhere a little more quiet.
Certainly, certainly, anything you'd like. I know there must be a shock. Shall we, Frank?
lead the way, miss.
Yeah, never heard it here. Yeah, somewhere quiet is just going outside in the alleyway in the back. All right, so what do you want to know about poor Charles?
Well, if he was having any troubles recently, it would be good that we know. We're also trying to track down some of his last work that he was doing, and there seem to be some missing items from his work.
Did you know he was a gambler?
Someone did mention that that might have been a problem he had, yes.
Yeah, he took me to Atlantic City twice now.
Oh my.
But he lost a lot of money. He liked to be kind of a high roller. You know what that is?
Yes, I believe so, but the question is, did he just lose his own money, or was did he take out a loan to have these sort of excursions with you? Do you know?
Oh, no, not a load. That's why I kind of want to stay quiet, as we don't want to speak ill of the poor man. He had a side deal that he would engage in from time to time that was going to make us a lot of money. And you just hear a sigh. Yeah, well, I don't think should even tell you any of this. But he was a forger, and he dealt in rare books that he would copy from his position at the university, I suppose. Pretty sure he didn't really speak too much of it that he was trying to copy one of the books and make money off of it as a forgery.
So he takes a legitimate rare book, makes a copy of it, sells the copy as the original.
Yes, we
Mm.
were going to make a lot of money too. What a shame. What a shame.
The people he sold to, was it anyone that, you know, would have caused him a lot of stress? Maybe threatened him?
Oh, I believe it was just the highest bidder. I didn't deal with any of that. That was his work. Do you think that had something to do with his death, or he said it was just a heart attack? That doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, I don't really know anything about, criminal undergrounds particularly. This was my first visit to a cocktail lounge. But
Huh.
I am a writer, so I have a good imagination. I assume that even though it looked like a heart attack, there are probably ways to make, you know, something terrible happen to a person and not make it obvious what that was, what the cause was. So it's entirely possible. If he was
Uh,
involved in something criminal, he could have gotten involved with someone dangerous. How are you doing? Do you have protection?
no.
Well, then perhaps you should come back with us to the university and stay under the protection of the dean until we get this all sorted out.
I think I'll stay here if you don't mind.
All right. Can you think of anything else that might be helpful for us in figuring out all of what happened to poor Charles?
Well, he was going on and on about those damn witch papers. I know that. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure he was trying to copy. He
Oh,
had I think it was one of his former students that was kicked out of the university. I don't know his name, but was helping him copy it over. Because it needed translation, I believe.
so he had help actually making the copies.
Yes, for this one he did. There's also I don't know what to call him, a creepy little college boy that's been hanging around.
A creepy little college boy?
Yeah, they're all the same. And well, not you, Frank. Not you. I'm sorry.
Frank
Frank's
is
not a
just like
college
he's
boy.
just there.
Yeah, that's why I was poking at you. Yeah, nothing like Frank over here. He's not a real man. I don't know anything more about this person. I just know he's been hanging around.
Did you ever see him? Can you give us a description?
Yeah, I guess if you were looking at him cross-eyed, he'd be considered handsome. You know, that type. He was definitely just dressed like any other student. Like I said, I only saw him hanging around. I didn't actually interact with him. I would never.
All right. And you don't know, you don't happen to know his name at all.
No. Charles never talked about it. He just said to let it go.
That's good to know. Give us some things to follow up on.
Hmm.
Is there any place that we could reach you to, give you news about like the funeral arrangements?
Um, I won't be going to the funeral.
Well, I suppose Charles probably kept the part of his life with you and the part of his life with everyone else separate. I suppose that makes sense.
She
Um,
goes, "Oh, wait," and you see her patting herself down. I did have a business card for an antique dealer. I know he spoke of him sometimes called Abner Wick. I must have misplaced it. I don't know where it is. I apologize.
that's fine. Caroline makes a note. Abner Wick, you said.
Yes,
Thank
I have no idea who this man is. I only heard the name.
Well, thank you. You've been very helpful. I suppose we could always find you here at some point if we needed to give you any pertinent information. It sounds like Charles probably doesn't have anything to leave you if he's in debt, but if there was a bequest or anything like that, we'll get back to you. Again, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Oh, I'm sure I'll survive, and you can come by anytime, Frank. She gives him a wink. All right, and I suppose we will come back to about the asylum crew.
Alrighty. Me
Yeah.
and Arsenault step in there, and I greet Hunter, saying, "Hello, Hunter. You don't know me, but I'm John Sanderson. I work here at the asylum. My friend behind you there is Mr. Devane. He's an acquaintance from outside of work. How's your treatment been?"
You enter the room after saying that, and you notice that he is a reedy, thin-faced man in his late 20s, perhaps. He has freckled face and he's a shock of reddish blonde hair. He's definitely in a straitjacket, and he doesn't really seem to even look at you. He just kind of mutters, worms seething in the walls.
Yes. Well, not to be too disturbing, but do you remember Charles Ryder at all?
Dead man, dead man. He saw him and they saw him, and off we go.
Indeed, he is. Well, it is in dealing with his affairs that leads us to you. I was hoping that perhaps you could inform us, perhaps about what he was delving into.
He doesn't respond.
Are the papers safe?
Doesn't respond.
Very well. I suppose we'll find the copies then. Sorry, I wouldn't know that. Um, I suppose we'll have to
Yeah.
check. We'll have to check his apartment. Perhaps he stashed them away somewhere. Unless,
Mm.
unless of course you were the last one to hold them, Hunter.
Money, money, only money. False art. We all
Yeah,
sell our souls in our own way.
we do indeed. If only we could find the right buyer.
Oh, money. It was all money with him. No love of art, no real understanding. All dollars and cents. Oh, we got offers now. And though he didn't, he money, money, money. He just goes off laughing.
Yes, the downfall of greedy men. This I'm very familiar with. Those who cloud their minds with needs, or I suppose I should say wants, are subject to manipulation. Those of us who can control our emotions, well, I think we find that the world begins to unlock itself. Would you agree?
Doesn't respond.
Well, I appreciate your time, Hunter. If there's anything else you think of, I might stop by, let's say Monday, around lunchtime.
He stares off into the distance.
Well, Arsenault, I don't believe we'll be getting much out of Hunter here. I don't desire to send him into distress.
No, no, no. May I ask him a question?
I suppose so. Keep it simple.
Yes. Hunter, my name is Devane. You mentioned that you know that the professor is dead.
And over each quivering form, the curtain, the funeral pall, comes down with the rush of a storm.
Well, um, and you see this, yes?
And the angels, all pallid and wan, Uprising and Revealing affirm that the play is the tragedy, man and its hero, the conqueror worm.
And your work with the professor, what was your role?
He doesn't answer.
Oh, yes, it is. He is quite gone. Uh, Very well.
Yes, well, I apologize, Mr. Devane, for having sidetracked you. Perhaps you would have been of more use somewhere else. I think Hunter here has come to the realization that the whole world's a stage, and he begins to turn and walk out of the room.
Can I just look around? Does it? His arms are bound, but
He's in a
there's
straitjacket, yeah.
yeah. There's no marking anywhere. And he probably didn't even have a bed. He probably just has the floor to sleep on.
That's correct, yeah. It's definitely
All
the
right.
old school kind of horrible Senate room thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if maybe sometimes people will get something with their foot and will like make marks on the wall with but nothing of that nature.
No, there's nothing.
All right, just wanted to make sure there was nothing they were missing. Yes, the this is still quite interesting. We let us go back to the university.
I agree. Good night, Hunter. Have a good evening.
You just see a bit of drool coming out of him.
All
Like
right.
very medicated.
Once we get out, I would say we did not get the young man's full name. Maybe we could look into other pieces of him. We may find a different trail.
Yeah, sure. I don't believe we'll need his assistance with that. However, we can check in at the front here. We have his charts, of course. We can gather his name and information.
Yes, yes.
Mentioned a studio apartment or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps I wonder if maybe he was an artist. But I suppose maybe we'll find out.
It seems he was mentioning such things. Um, maybe we'll find something.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we should meet with the others. I've become quite weary. Let's see if they've maybe found something of use.
Sure, and we will go back to our designated meeting place.
Or not so designated, as it were.
Well,
we retroactively agree it's the university.
Okay, yes. Meet back here.
Yeah. You all shouted it as you walked away.
we'll definitely all need coffee after this.
And as the party of coverage is back on the Miskatonic University, a storm starts to appear and it does begin to rain.
Oh, see, always be prepared. Caroline just puts out her umbrella.
As does Mr. Devane.
And as you arrive, those own cars, your cars are starting to act funny and they stalled inexplicably. And you were all in the university to, I guess, the cafeteria? As it pounds, rain is pounding outside.
Virginia is going to order a tea, kind of try to get the shivers, make the shivers go away.
Frank, that was strange with your car. Is it going to be all right?
I don't know.
She's trying to hold her umbrella like way up high so that it covers a little bit of both of us, but you're much taller.
It's all right, miss.
We should get inside just in case there's, anything more than rain. And hurry up to where Virginia is inside.
Oh, sorry. Where are we again?
We're back at the university.
Yeah, we're back at the university. All right. Yeah.
Meeting up at.
Yeah, we're gonna meet in the cafeteria.
Yeah, the cafeteria, student union, whatever passes for a food place.
The two of us had taken a taxi to the asylum, correct?
I guess we don't have a car. Yeah. Does their taxi die?
Yes, the taxi stalled out. Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Was the taxi and the rain? Did it seem like it was going to rain today? Did it seem like there was I don't know. I don't think that you had weather reports at this point in time. But did it seem like this is a strange occurrence, or does it seem like the rain would have been, like Like there was weather in the area.
Nope, it was a clear day when you went into the asylum, and when you came back out, it was pouring out rain.
Oh, when we came out of the asylum, it was already raining before we even get back to the university.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I was gonna see if I could make a roll to kind of I have a decent physics, and I know that like when I'm trying to think how I might word this, but physics deals with barometric pressures and wind and different elements of the weather. In a sense, it's used in aviation. Um, and so I want to know if I could make some kind of a determination if this seems kind of odd that it's raining now, just from the way it had been before we went in and how it feels now.
Yeah, go ahead. It's probably the only time you're ever gonna roll your physics anyways.
I am trying to use it.
Just what I realize what you're doing, so go ahead.
That is a regular success.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna pretend that myself know how any of this works, so I'll just say it appeared like it was a freak storm that came on with your knowledge.
Mm-hmm. All right. Um, Excellent. Thank you. Might as well get at least one thing checked on my list.
All right, so now
This
you're all back in the cafeteria and you guys speak to each other on your findings.
Yeah, I'm going to tell him that we were able to learn the extent of his debt, and I'm going to show them the receipt for the casino Atlantic City with $6,610. This was back in this was at the beginning of August, and also that his home was broken into on the 11th, and he had all of his locks replaced, and that we were able to find a safe in his bedroom, and we weren't able to open it. And Virginia is going to say that she believes that he was trying to outrun his creditors and that the witch papers had something to do with it. Maybe he was trying to use them to get out of debt.
Well, maybe Frank can help us get into the safe there.
Oh, yes, there's a thought.
Well, I don't know what you gentlemen and ladies think I did in the war, but there weren't no safes over in Bellow Wood last time I checked. Though I might know a few people who can. They'd be pretty far away from here right now. Yeah.
Well, if nothing else, you have a gun that's larger than my Derringer, so you could always shoot the walk-ons.
Oh, that's an idea.
Or maybe pry it open. I mean, he's not going to mind. He is dead. But that's funny that you said the papers might have something to do with paying off his debt. That's basically what we found out. We found a young woman named Lucy, whom he was close with before his death. And
And
yes,
Frank
and they
coughs.
and they went to Atlantic City, and also she was aware that he was involved in some sort of scheme that she thought was going to make them lots of money. It involved copying things like rare books and papers and then selling them, so forged copies. And I don't know where else you would sell something like that other than on the black market. That's just a guess, but I assume. And he also was in contact with some sort of antique dealer. She didn't have the card anymore, but his name was Abner Wick. So he could be the connection for the selling. We're not sure. Could follow up. He also mentioned that she mentioned that he was having Hunter help with copying specifically the witch papers that we're looking for, and that there was someone else hanging around sometimes, not Hunter, but another boy from the college that she called him a little bit creepy, who was hanging around. We don't know his name or really what he looked like. She described him as fairly average. I believe the words were, maybe handsome if you crossed your eyes.
What is from the college mean exactly?
I assume he was a student, or at least seemed to be a student.
Interesting.
Do you know anything about that, Emilia? If she's still here. Is she here with us?
No, I think
she would be.
Emilia split off after you guys arrived.
We could ask her.
Virginia's going to clear her throat and say, "Oh, one more thing. Emilia mentioned Professor Roach again. I'm not familiar with the man, but he was a rival to Professor Leiter when he was alive." She kind of draws in a deep breath and says, "He's an unpleasant man, I hear, but he'd be worth talking to anyway."
Now, may I ask you, what was it that the young lady said about this hunter?
Oh, Miss Lucy?
Yes.
She just said that Hunter was someone who was helping Professor Leiter with his side business. So he was aware of
Mm,
the illicit dealings and was specifically helping to copy the Witch House papers.
yes, he is a forger of papers. This young man, and I don't mean to step on your toes, Father. This young man seems to be quite disturbed, and he made very vague references to a great many things. Even knowing that the professor was deceased.
That's interesting. Because would he have had a chance to know? Lucy didn't seem to know.
No, this young man has been in the asylum for almost 2 weeks since before the passing. He is a cryptic source of knowledge, I believe. Um, these papers they deal with as the dean said magics and the occult. I It causes me concern this behavior of the man, the young man. If he was so intimately to do with the papers and such a dealing. Arsenault reaches up and kind of like rubs the bruises and scars around his face, kind of like really concerned.
John, do you have anything to say about your interview with the young man? Was that your professional opinion as well?
Unfortunately, he didn't have much to say. I think perhaps this hunter fellow was disturbed by the work that he gazed upon. I think it's safe to assume that many people who got involved with it were hurt by it, but yet its perceived value, or perhaps something it itself does. I don't believe that the money element is actually very relevant at all, except to the living. As far as everyone who's dead, I think the problem is probably closer related to, oh, I don't know, footsteps in a hallway where nobody appears, or secret boys stalking around. That seems more relevant to me.
I don't think that we can discount the money element. The buyer of such documents can be sometimes driven to do something crazy when they don't have the funds. If you follow me, um, uh, continuing down the road of money is any road in this is important.
Yes, obviously we're finding some things about Charles that were less than ideal for the university's reputation, but all we have to do is keep those quiet. I think we were brought in because there's property missing that they're concerned may be looked for, right? So we have to find this stuff. What if there was a buyer and the buyer actually came and collected the actual item?
Mm.
Because he did say that the documents are missing in that half-burned note, right? So unfortunately, I think we do have to follow the money, even though it's not nearly as compelling as ghosts and footsteps.
Well,
Virginia's going to sip her tea and say, "We're going to paths are going to intertwine at some point. We all know that.
Yes, the thing will begin to make themselves more apparent as we pull on them. Yes. Well, let us discuss the next phase of this investigation. Who are the names? We have this other professor who is taking over the research, and the art dealer. Yes. What were the other ones? Was there a second professor that was also mentioned, or?
There might be a student who might know something because he was always hanging around, but we don't know his name.
Yes. And
Do you think Hunter would
Arsenault
have anything too, like left in his place or whatever?
It might be worth stopping by Hunter's studio. I suspect he may be some form of artist or something. It was said that he was perhaps a mentee of Charles Leiter. I suspect that that's not actually the truth. The one thing that I do want to express to you all is I think we're dealing with something that's outside of the common affairs of an everyday individual. I once knew a schoolmate, and there wasn't a week that went by where one of us didn't spend time at the other's house, at least several days out of that week. And one day he stopped showing up to school. A couple days in, I stopped by his house, and his mother, who had always been the kindest woman, was screaming at me, and I couldn't even process what she was saying because I was so traumatized by the event. Long story short, I never found out what happened to my friend, except to know that he had suddenly, over the course of a single night, seemingly, he'd lost all grip on reality. And that sparked my interest in these fields. It appears as though the same thing has happened to Hunter. And there are many others who go from being perfectly healthy, functional human beings one day to being husks of their former selves the next.
What was the research that you and your friend were doing?
I wasn't doing any research at the time. We were schoolboys, mind you.
Oh.
We were in elementary days. And I know that contact with certain forces, as ridiculous as it sounds, can sometimes shift the entire course of a person's life. And as a result, I'm forced to acknowledge the fact that we control nothing. And the only thing we can do is try our best to control our own rational minds, for those are the only tools we have with which to navigate this world. So I think that what we're dealing with here is we're dealing with something that defies schools, forgery, prostitutes, speakeasies, whatever's going on here. It sounds as though we may be dealing with something unnatural.
Virginia, I just remember now, Virginia did spend some time at Arkham Asylum, so she would know Dr. Sanderson. As you're saying this, she's just gonna excuse herself and go to the bathroom. She's just gonna kind of be in there by herself, just kind of.
So if I understand what you're saying, John, it's that we shouldn't read the papers when we find them. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That's one of many things that I believe to be true. I think it would be a wise idea not to dig too deep once we hypothetically find said papers. I don't know what's going on here, to be perfectly clear, but I've had experiences that let me understand that the world as humans understand it is based on convenience, where we have placed ourselves at the center of that universe. Therefore, we use our feelings and emotions to guide our actions and our beliefs. Yet, in the reality of things, we are not the center of anything but our own egos. So, to think appropriately about the world and how it truly works is to eschew the emotions and to truly focus only on observable and provable information.
So, what are we doing, Doc?
I believe that checking out Hunter's apartment might be fruitful, but I also am willing to admit that I'm about as lost as you. There's a lot of moving parts here, and I don't trust those moving parts to be accurate, to say the least.
Well, see, Doc, I'm not the smartest of the bunch, but when I was still a fighting man, I still like to think of myself as a fighting man. Before we went over the top, I would lead a small group of young individuals, but as young as I was, over the top in the middle of the night. Much like you said, there are moving parts to this, but right now I believe action is better than inaction, and I think I'm with you on checking out young Hunter's apartment, see what we can see better than standing here and exercising our jaws a little bit too much, don't you think, Doc?
Just going to go check on Virginia.
Yes, that's a good idea. And when you rise, Arsenault will stand up to be polite, as he would have when Virginia left. One thing, gentlemen, and when the ladies get back, I think we should have a deeper conversation that John has brought up. Who are we as a group? What it seems maybe trivial, but you have had a profound experience, and I too have had some profound experiences. And what is it that we all have that we bring to the table, as it were? At least while the rain is falling, we can get to know each other, understand our strengths and weaknesses, if you follow me.
Perhaps. But I would suggest that perhaps what we have in common here to the element of our concern, which are these papers, is merely proximity. Does a moon choose what planet it revolves around? No, it simply gathers as it meanders by and gets sucked into an orbit. I suggest that we are being sucked into an orbit.
Yes. I understand what you mean, but there are some concrete things. Our young friend, Mr. Ryder here, he is strong and capable. I assume with his fists and with a gun. Yourself, you are a medical professional. You may work more with the mind, but also have some understanding of the body. I am an engineer. I deal with mechanical and electrical components. I helped actually to design aircraft for the war, but I also have an interest in the occult, and I think that part of the reason why the dean invited me to this is that you follow.
Sure. It appears as though many of us may share one trait in common. Perhaps it's discipline. I noticed that certain individuals who didn't contact the papers at all appear to be relatively unaffected. Yet everyone who seems to have come in contact with it has wound up dead or insane. Perhaps that's merely the track we're on, but we haven't progressed to such a point where our mental faculties have deteriorated. I do hope to impress upon you that what we're dealing with is certainly, no doubt, very, very dangerous. And when we walk into this young man's apartment, if that is indeed where we go, I just want you to know you guys are free to do as you wish. You're free to go, you're free to continue, you're free to stay, you're free to research. I'm not in control of your actions. I choose my path, and you must also accept responsibility for choosing yours.
As you're speaking, you can see Arsenault is kind of holding a small thing in his hand and kind of like rolling it around, just kind of nervously playing with it.
Is that a coin that you have there?
Oh no, this is a is a small token. It is a little a chisel. He shows you. It's about a hand-sized chisel. It looks very old. It's all metal. It was believed to belong to the man who helped to build the Egyptian pyramids, the step pyramids, and Imhotep. Um, he is believed to be the first engineer.
I was once given a token too. Funny story, but it's for another time.
Meanwhile, Caroline, I don't know if it's a group bathroom that I could go into, or I don't know if she's in a stall or like, yeah, so she'll go knock on the door.
Yeah, you find Virginia, you just find Virginia in front of the mirror, and she's got the water running. She's just kind of looking in the mirror and then down at the water, and she turns and sees you, and she turns off the water and says, "Oh, how are you?"
I'm fine. Are you okay, dear?
She just kind of fans herself and she says, "Oh, it's just that time of the month. And I was in Arkham Asylum. Sometimes when listening to Dr. Sanderson, it can bring me back."
If you're not okay with any of this at any point, you just tell me, and I will do everything I can to make sure that you're all right, all right?
She smiles and says, "Thank you, and I'll do the same for you. I feel like I'm on this path for a reason."
Well, hopefully we all are. Hopefully we're here for a higher purpose to make sure that everything here turns out well, as good as it can, considering Charles is dead. But yes, just remember, I'm here for you if you need someone.
Thank you.
Let's go back out and join the others if you're all right.
Of course, of course.
As you two exit the bathroom, there's a man standing out there waiting for you.
Do I know who he is?
He is an undergraduate. He's definitely dressed as a student, and he's just eyeing you up and down. I understand you're looking into Professor Ryder.
Oh, who told you?
Well, don't worry about that.
You're awfully impertinent, young man.
Yes, I am.
That was not a compliment, my dear.
Ah, I don't worry about what people say. What have you found out?
Not a lot yet. Are you the naughty, creepy little young man who's been hanging around his office this whole time?
Excuse me, what did you say?
Were you hanging around Professor Leiter before his death?
Hanging
Told
around?
about you, yes.
Virginia's gonna kind of place a hand on Carolyn's arm and say, "Come on, let's join the others."
You two aren't going anywhere. And you see he flashes that he has a knife tucked into his pants.
Virginia's just gonna scream.
Carolyn pulls her gun. You brought a knife to a gunfight, young man.
He says, you just see him backing up slowly. I see.
Does Frank hear the screaming?
Were you in the cafeteria?
Yeah, the cafeteria,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
She just went to the bathroom, so there was I guess there would be like a hallway.
Yeah, I assume there's like out in the hallway. Yeah, I'll say you heard it.
The moment he hears screaming, Sanderson and Arsenault just see Frank flip a switch, and he just bolts towards.
Yeah, as you were doing that, he puts up his arm and he just backs away and he attempts to leave the building. And he's like midway doing this by the time you get there.
He's barreling straight for the guy he doesn't know.
Yeah, you do see Carolyn having her gun pointed at someone, so.
Yep.
Yeah. Then he's gonna run.
Frank draws his 45 and he's just running, bolting after the damn kid.
All right, that'll be a chase. Roll your Constitution.
Constitution is 60. This is my first chase in Call of Cthulhu. Woo!
I don't know that it will be of any benefit, but I think Carolyn would run
Probably
after
not.
well.
26.
Okay. So that's a success.
Yep.
I think Virginia's gonna chase too.
Okay.
Why not?
Wait, why is there a +6?
Oh, that's the tens die.
Sorry, what? Yeah, it's 20.
No, it's 26. What
Okay,
happened was you
26.
rolled a 20 and
Okay.
you rolled a 6, so it adds together 26.
Okay. Sorry.
Do I roll my Constitution?
Yeah.
I got a regular success.
Okay. Strength.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Jesus.
Extreme success.
She's just like, oh, I'll join in extreme success.
What's the D6 for, if I might ask?
The what?
Because it has a +6.
Well, it rolls 2d100s. One was a 0, and then one was a 6.
Oh,
She rolled
okay.
it. This is
Yeah.
simulating the dice.
Gotcha.
She would have rolled, technically, she would have rolled a 0, and then a 60. That would be 6,
Okay.
which is extreme success. So
Towards
whoever's the slowest has 1 movement point. Whoever's the quickest has 2 more above that. So you would have 3 movements, and he has 1. Virginia has 3 movement points. I believe Frank will have 2. Caroline will have 1. There. Alrighty, so he will start out in the lead. We'll just say
Well, I did really well on my Constitution rolls, so
yes.
I've got 3 movement.
You have 3 actions. That's correct.
Okay.
We will say, just for some kind of sanity here, is the school hallway. Mr. Whoever is here, you are all back in the first one. There we go. We'll just say he opened the door so he can get out.
All right. I think Frank should go first because he took the. It sounds like he was really trying to run after him first. So
All right, Frank, you have 2 movement actions, which you can move up 1 space, or you can shoot if you really wanted to. Or
Nope. He's just going.
all right, you
He's
can move
focused
up.
on running.
All right, we will say you move up 1, and we're just gonna say that there was a classroom here, and then the door opens and surprises you. You get a dodge. Somebody came up.
It's my classmates. It's like, hey Frank, what's
Yeah.
the fuck you? Hang on.
Like, what's going on? And they open the door and it almost hit you.
Yeah.
Just give a dodge.
Dodge half dex. Okay, I have 50 apparently. Shit, 92.
92. All right. You take we'll just say you take 1 point of damage as it hits you in the shoulder and it stops you dead. So we'll say to mobilize you to take your other turn away, your other movement point. And
Okay.
I guess Virginia can go if she wants.
I'm just gonna run as far as I can, and I'm gonna shout. Get him! Get him! He pulled a knife on me. He pulled a knife on me. Get him! Get him! Don't let him get away.
If you push your way through
shouting
I guess
out
you
as I'm up.
you go around the body of Frank and move up.
Yeah.
Caroline, you only have 1 movement point.
Yeah, I just moved forward. Who is that young man? Someone tell us.
That's the box. Thank you. All right.
It's the opposite wall as all of those people are like coming out near Frank, and he's like stopped and all that.
Okay, he's going to move. All I can really do is move one point. Why can't I select this? He's going to move outside. You all see the back of him leave. He's outside. And we can go back. I guess Frank, you can dust yourself off after getting hit.
Yep, still running.
All right, we'll let you go. You can go up too. You move up without any issue to her after the initial excitement has died off. Everyone's shouting around. Wonder what's going on. I guess that brings us back to Virginia.
Okay. Do I make another Constitution roll or no?
No, that's just at the beginning to determine who's fastest.
Okay. And how many movement points do I have this turn?
You always have 3 for the whole chase.
Oh, I always have 3? All right. I guess I'm gonna move as fast as I can. Try to not lose sight of him. Is it raining outside?
Well, 3 would put you up, right? You're basically at the same spot as him now. And yes, it's still raining.
Okay. And I'm guessing it's evening.
Yes. It's very dark.
Okay.
Because of the rain.
I'm gonna try to get like the attention of people around me. Like I'm just gonna say, stop him, stop him.
Yeah, we'll say there's a crowd of people. That would be what? Persuade or fast talk or we'd
Yeah,
say
I guess.
there's maybe a small crowd that's moving to avoid the rain. They see you pop out and see you shout, stop him, stop him. They still take your persuade.
Yeah. My persuade isn't very good, but I'll try it. No.
Nope, they continue walking to get out of the rain. And I see Caroline, who's up her 1 point, is unfortunately left behind in the dust. All right, let me see here. He is not happy that you caught up to him and you're both standing right outside the door. He, in his desperation, is going to take a swing at you or thrust his knife at you.
Okay.
Do you fight back or dodge?
I'm definitely gonna dodge.
Very well.
Success.
Yeah, he makes a clumsy move. I guess his foot slips in the rain and he misses. That's his turn. So we are at Frank. Pretty much all you can do is go up to. I assume is what you want to do.
Yep, he's just running.
And poor Caroline can go at one. All right. It has 3 turns to deal with this menace.
I'm definitely gonna. If he's well, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna take another swing at me or keep running or what is he
Well,
gonna do?
that would be the question, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
You don't know. Maybe the man has already violently attacked you with a knife.
yeah. I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna like try to scream again, see if I can get anyone's attention.
No, I'm gonna say
Um.
everyone left now because of the rain.
Okay. Well, in that case,
You do feel a tingle in your hands, and bad memories start to resurface.
okay.
Do you push that away or do you delve into it?
I'm gonna delve into it.
All right. Your hands, they begin to tingle and they begin to flash. You do feel that there's some kind of force pushing forward in front of you that wants out. Do you let it out?
Yeah.
All right. But roll a 1d10 and 8. Very well. Please deduct 8 points of magic. Did you have really given into this power? Oh dear. I need you to roll an oh shit. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. Shit. Let's roll a 6d10.
60-10.
Yeah. You have given into this power that responded to your danger.
41.
41. Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. A rush of invisible energy slams out of you into the man, hits him into the chest, and he goes flying backwards.
Oh, I'm so sad Caroline doesn't see this.
For 41 damage. So it was.
41. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm
I
gonna
think
need
it would
a
be like if he was hit by a bomb or something. I think
pretty
that's
much. You do see blood splatter everywhere, and I will need a 1d6 sanity roll for using the spell.
yeah, okay.
I was really hoping that roll would be lower. My justification was you didn't really know what you were doing. You were just tapping into it.
Yeah. Like 3.
3, you were quite shaken, and you were covered in blood, which is being damaged, trounced by the rain. And that will effectively end the chase as the body of indeed looks like he was hit by a bomb in the chest. He thuds across the pavement.
Yeah.
Frank
Falls.
comes out.
Land.
He's just like, Jesus fuck.
Yeah. Virginia just kind of falls backwards and just kind of stares at what she's at.
It's here, though.
Whatever's left of him up ahead and just breathes kind of heavily and then she finally like lifts up her hands. What does she see on her hands?
It was just a crack. She didn't see anything. It was invisible. It was like a tingling, like when your hand goes to sleep, but she felt it all
Right.
in both of her hands.
Well, she's wondering if like she sees anything on her hands, but I guess there isn't anything on her hands right now.
Nope, just the blood that's been washed off that sploded onto you. Yeah.
She's just gonna sit there in the puddle or whatever until somebody finds her.
Yeah, towards her, and just like has no idea what's happening, and is way too far behind. But once she finally gets there, she's just gonna go to her knees and like, arms around and give Virginia a hug.
Oh. He's not a problem anymore. Thank you. Can you pick me up?
What happened?
Frank's just like he at this point his gun is drawn and he's just like, what happened?
Oh.
What the fuck did
Frank.
you do?
Frank, dear, please put that away. He's not a problem anymore.
Well,
Please, let's get out of here.
No shit, miss, but what was that?
Nothing.
You know what? No, we will
I need
talk
some
about
sleep.
that later.
I need some sleep.
Oh,
Sure. Jesus. He puts his gun away. His hands are up. He's like, what? His legs over there. His arms over there. It's like, that's fucking head. Guys
Yeah, he probably
everywhere.
hasn't seen carnage like that since Bella Woods.
Yeah, no, he's having a moment. Keeper, does this spark something with Frank? Just an acute episode of PTSD or something?
Does he have that? He said in his sheet that he was relatively okay.
Yeah, no, he's relatively okay. I just didn't manage to get that far in the character creation thing.
I mean, seeing a body explode might be grounds for a
Yeah.
sanity check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take
Well,
a smaller sanity check from the other two because you were both in the hallway. You didn't actually see it. You just see the aftermath. Yeah, we can do a sanity roll if that's appropriate.
Seems like.
74. My sanity is 50. My current sanity is 50.
All right.
You
Well,
did.
did you both fail or succeed? I didn't hear the
I
rolls.
succeeded.
Or-
All right. If you
I rolled
succeeded,
over it.
you'll take one, and if you fail, just do a 1d4, I guess, as you survey. It does indeed look like the hand was hit by a bomb and it exploded, which you didn't hear a bomb go off. You didn't hear anything. It's just very, very freaking strange.
1 sanity damage. I'm down
You
to
both
49.
you both take it relatively well. Perhaps indeed, maybe there's a an explanation, maybe there's not, but there's still exploded man. So, and the two in the cafeteria are you all still there or what's going on?
I would imagine that I wouldn't be down to try to like be part of this chase at all, but I do
Yeah.
think that like I would have to head outside at some point, just because you know, four people that I'm supposedly working with have gone out there with an unknown assailant. So,
And
um,
Arsenault, do you catch up or do you stay in the cafeteria?
Yeah, I would, uh, assuming that Frank could handle himself pretty well, I wouldn't have like sprinted as quickly, but I would have. I feel like I would have eventually caught up.
Okay.
Maybe coming out as they're beginning to make their way back in.
Well,
But
they're both. So yeah, we'll need.
what seems to have happened?
Oh, a man tried to, man pulled a gun on us. Or no, and he pulled a knife on us. It was a knife. But he ran away, and I tried to, I tried to go after him, and well, I'm just gonna kind of gesture
I
over
assume that
to
I
the
can.
remain, and I'm gonna say he's not a problem anymore, but maybe he is a problem. I need some rest. I
Do
need some rest. I'm sorry.
no. You should go and sit down. Get dry. I'll look at Caroline. Say, do you know who this man was?
I believe that this was the young man who Lucy said was hanging around, but we did not get his name even now.
Ah, maybe someone should call the police. Go call the police. I will go check on him.
Is that what the dean would want? I mean, I
Well,
don't know that we have a choice, but
there is a
consideration.
a man injured in the courtyard. I think someone should
Injured
know.
is a fucking understatement, Doc.
Uh, he just kind of like looks puzzled, and he he's away.
He does the Frank does the hand motion of like kaboom.
I don't I, I don't know how to respond to just. You're saying he is dead?
Fucking he better be, Doc.
I think he is away, injured or dead. His body cannot stay there. This is not any better for the school.
Very true.
I will go and just check.
Yeah, we need to clean that up.
Get her cleaned up too, so there is no evidence.
Come on, dear.
And Arsenault will go over and approach the body slowly.
All right, you see a man that was inexplicably exploded, and I would need that sanity roll from you now as you're looking at it.
Yeah,
It's
I
quite the
know.
horrific scene as the
Uh-huh.
legs and arms are strewn apart from each other.
Well, that's a fail. Unfortunately, I've lost 6 sanity so far. I don't know if that's something that needs to be resolved.
No,
But
it's only if it's 5 or more and one hit,
oh, in one hit. Oh, okay. All right.
you're good. So yeah,
Great.
you've had a day though.
Yeah. I'm not feeling mentally wonderful. But I still am gonna just try to pull myself together despite the fact and walk over to the man. He's been implicated in this investigation. He pulled a knife on the ladies and ran when they tried to deal with him. So I feel like he would at least want to take a look at him and get, maybe find a wallet or some kind of something on him. So Arsenault would pull some gloves on and just do a quick look through his coat pocket and pants pockets
All
for
right, you
anything.
you go towards his coat, which is his upper half, and you pat it. There's nothing in there.
Hmm.
You go
And
to his lower
and
half, which is it was strewn away from the body.
hmm
Yeah, you find identification. His name is Anthony Flinders. It's a what do you call it? A Miskatonic ID. He goes to school.
hmm just a name, no kind of address or anything like that, right?
Yeah, it's just a student ID for the school, we'll say.
Hmm. Um, can I make an idea roll? Um, I'm trying to think. Would it make more sense to take this so he doesn't look like a student, considering the circumstances, or would it make more sense to just write his name down and replace it?
Go ahead. Roll your idea roll, which is intelligence.
I believe it is intelligence.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, that is a regular success.
All right, this everything looks like it's authentic. This is a student, Anthony Splinters, as it says, and you already know you're supposed to keep things quiet, so perhaps the dean should be informed before you do anything. That's what comes to your mind.
Well, so my initial thought is, um, police are police might be called for this. Maybe we don't call the police; we call the campus police. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna keep the ID. That way, if somebody does end up calling the police, um, he's doesn't. Maybe we can deny that he's a student, and but I mean, the state of his body is pretty messed up. So Arsenal is gonna leave the rest of the wallet and just take the student ID and head back inside.
Mhm. I guess
Um,
Arsenault joins the others. His
mhm.
ID in his hand.
Maybe we should not call the police. We should maybe we should report to the dean. Figure out some way to
And say what exactly, sir? That
uh,
a
we
young
need
man just exploded in the front yard?
uh, that is what happened. We need to cover this up. Yeah. This is not what we are trying to do, to have this kind of publicity. This is this is a problem. The dean will have to understand. We are dealing with
This
something.
is all crazy. All of you understand it, right?
I I
This is all.
you
Jesus.
if you're looking at Arsenault, you can see, like, he's wet, but he looks like
Yeah.
his eyes are welling up. He looks pretty shaken. He's trying to hold it together, but he is uh, barely doing that. Um, it is This is not good, young man. I understand that, but we must act uh, efficiently in this moment. We cannot.
Okay, how about this? You tell the dean, I'll go clean up the body. It's not the
Uh,
first time I have to fucking clean up after things. And
yes,
The thing is,
when Frank says that, you get a sense he's not talking about his time in the Great War. And before he
okay.
can say anything, he's yeah, he steps
Uh,
outside and
yes, maybe you should get a trash barrel and do that. God, this is not good. Um, Arsenal
Virginia's
is
just gonna stand up and she's gonna say, I wish I could talk to my grandfather right now. And she kind of looks around and says, which one of you is going to walk me home?
Caroline, who apparently took this very well, has been like just taking care of Virginia, pulled out a pack of like fig bars, has given her one, got her some more tea, put the coat around her. She hands a fig bar to Arsenault, who doesn't look like he's doing so great either. And she's like, I will. I will go with you.
Okay,
Arsenal probably takes the
thank
fig
you.
bar, but also light a cigarette and shakily start smoking a cigarette.
Well, this has definitely been a unique turn of events. I doubt any of us woke up this morning thinking we'd be here.
This is the last place I want to be right now. Will you accompany the ladies, or maybe go help Frank? I will go and speak to the dean.
Well, I suppose we all have to figure out what the next step here is. I personally, there's a bunch of people who got alerted to this man fleeing the scene. I don't think there's any possibility we covered this one up.
Well, the dean still needs to be made aware.
True.
Cover it up. I don't know. We must take some steps.
I was thinking we could have said that he jumped from a tall building, but the problem is people saw him fleeing across the courtyard prior. No one's going to buy it.
Perhaps leave the story to the dean. I think we just don't want people to see the scary state that he is in now.
I just want
to see if we're on the same. Can I ask a retcon? Oh,
yeah. No, you go. Good.
Can I ask a retcon question? As Arsenault was like coming down the hallway, other people had passed Virginia, ignoring the situation, and entered the hallway. The people who would have been around, they looked like they ever took any notice of what was going on.
No, the only people that were there were the ones in the classroom that hit Frank with the door,
mm-hmm.
and they just stood in the hallway and watched the processions, or they didn't actually go out inside and see what happened.
Yeah, there were some people who had passed. They were coming in when Virginia was going out after the man. I didn't know. Did it look like anyone? And even now, does it look like anyone is kind of observing the situation?
Oh, the people that Virginia saw they were trying to flee from the raid, and she tried to persuade them, but unsuccessfully. And then they scattered afterwards.
Okay,
they didn't actually go back inside.
They weren't actually. No random normal person was there for the actual explosion.
As far as you know, no one was there, and there is a chance that it was all covered up by the bad weather.
mm-hmm.
There's a
chance.
I
love that all the other adults are in the cafeteria and Frank's outside in the rain, fucking soaking wet with a trash bag, picking up like a hand or something.
God, now I almost wish we hadn't had you do that. Because we could have like blamed it on lightning, on like a freak lightning accident.
I'm pretty sure lightning doesn't make people explode.
Roll your physics.
You know, I mean, I think I'm going to still say that to like the people who are here. Maybe if Virginia and Caroline have left, I'll say it to John. We could say it was a freak lightning. Maybe this is at least a plausible explanation. Yes. I think it is okay that young Frank is picking up the body, hopefully to be respectful, thoughtful of the dead. Something we have to have some thing to say. Again, I am going to go to the dean and deal with the matter. If you want to come with me, that is fine. But,
before you go to the dean, I just want to speak to everybody here for a moment to see if we're on the same page. I don't trust the dean as far as I can throw him.
There are a few untrustworthy people involved in this, but we must do what we think is best.
Right. And what do we think is best?
We have been asked to protect the reputation of this university. If we think that this is the correct way to go, then this falls into that jurisdiction. If it is not, then we let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, I think personally, my opinion is before this goes any further, let's see if we can look into the many more names that have come up during the course of this investigation. See if we can identify a copy or the originals of these papers. Perhaps even go to the colonial home itself. And I figure we should probably simply destroy them. Anyone looking for them is up to no good, one way or the other. And I think that the only benefit, the only value we could have for this form of existence that we know as humans would be to destroy the gravity well that we all orbit around, to continue the earlier analogy, to preserve the papers or to provide the information to the dean could increase the chances that forces that we do not wish to obtain this power do.
So many of the words you just said are going over my head. I think I agree, but he's continuing to smoke. Like now he's just like chain smoking. So
I say we go rogue. I say we don't work for the dean.
I get what you're telling me. Okay. Are the ladies still here?
I think that's up to Virginia. I assumed we were kind of on our way out at some juncture here as this was all happening.
Yeah, I intended to stop everybody except Frank. I guess he's outside with a body.
Yeah.
But parts.
Body parts. Yeah.
Body parts. Yeah. Well, they're injured parts of a body.
Yeah, I think we're all just dealing with the fallout of whatever Virginia did.
Mm-hmm.
I think Virginia just needs to go home. So
it would make sense that she's not taking anything in right now. She just wants to go rest.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that because I didn't want to just be talking to John and not if two of you had still been there for some reason. I just wanted to not be rude.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fine if Caroline was hearing you. I don't know if she agrees, but she will be hearing and nodding.
Well, again, if Virginia wanted to leave and the two of you left, I just wanted to.
Yeah, John wanted to catch us, so I guess he kind of caught us and.
Okay.
We
Sure.
need to go now, though. She needs to rest, and Caroline will just be like, "Okay, John, we'll put a pin in that. Good thoughts." And she takes Virginia away. Let's get this poor lady home.
Shortly after you take Virginia away, Frank comes back in with like really messy hands, and he goes, "Anyone free? Because I might need some help disposing of the body. I got somewhere I can dump it."
Why don't you go and wash your hands for now?
I'll wash it later.
No. In case the police show up, you do not want to have the red hands.
Boss, we won't be here for that long because the damn body's in the trunk of my car. I just need someone to help me.
Oh, that is a terrible place for it.
Oh, don't worry. It's gonna sink pretty soon.
Oh, that is a wonderful thought. John, do you want to accompany the young Frank?
Well, that depends. Is that your car, Frank? Or is it one that you borrowed?
It's mine.
Sorry.
I might have a friend that I can call upon. Help me get rid of this damn thing.
What role are you expecting me, a doctor, to play in this?
Hands. Anyone, really.
It's another pair of hands.
Just that. It's another pair of hands. Alternatively, I can do it myself.
I feel as though this isn't a path I want to go down. I feel like I'm covering up two. I don't know if they're murders, deaths. I'm destroying evidence on a crime scene. I don't.
If it's all the same, Doc, it's fine. I just wanted to throw the question out there. Is there anything you gentlemen need from me with time meeting back, or what are we doing?
Well,
do we need anything?
I'm of the opinion that I should stop by our good friend Hunter's studio, and I might do that sooner rather than later. And I know Hunter. Yes.
The young man from the asylum.
From the asylum. I'd like to stop by his place but I was talking earlier about choosing our paths, and I think that's where mine is.
If it's all the same, Doctor, I think it's mine too. But do you have any sort of protection with you?
If you're talking about firearms, no, I don't.
No. We can get other things in firearms, but regardless, I'm gonna go visit one of my friends. Do you want to come with, at least in that regard? I do have the vehicle. We can go to the apartment. So you gentlemen don't have to take the cab.
Cab is fine. I don't mind. It sounds like you might be busy for the next handful of hours.
Perhaps. How about you?
I'm going to look into the gentleman that you were dealing with. I have his name. I'm going to see if he has a place that I can go and do the same kind of skulking.
Okay, then. I'll meet you at the Hunter's studio, Doctor. It'll take me a while, but I'll meet you there.
Sure. Yeah, I think that would be for the best.
All right. Catch you gentlemen later. Goes out to his car, drives off to go meet his
Wait,
one of his friends.
As you get out to the car with the attention of, you find that it has been broken into and the body parts have been stolen.
Mother fucker. And he opens the trunk and his eyes go wide, body's gone. He reaches for the false bottom of his trunk. Is his shotgun still there?
Yes. The only thing that's missing was the trash bag full of the body parts.
Mother. You hear the loudest fucking string of curses a Marine could ever speak.
I mean, I feel like this is a problem that has fixed itself.
Or is the problem just needing creepy music?
Modern problems require modern solutions.
No longer your issue.
Well, yeah, he goes back in. He puts his shotgun back and closes the fucking car, and he goes inside. He probably catches the doctor before he leaves. He goes, "Well, body's fucking gone."
Pardon?
It's gone, Doc. It's not there anymore.
Prior to you dealing with it, it's gotten up and walked away, is what you're saying.
No, they were all in a trash bag, and that trash bag was inside a burlap sack. That burlap sack was in my trunk. It is no longer in the trunk.
Huh.
I would call this a happy coincidence, but it's nothing happy. What is going on here?
Who would abscond with body parts?
Well,
apart from the fucking Krauts, I don't know.
I mean, we were doing it.
Well, I guess my time is free now, so you want to just hop in the car, Doc, and we can head over to Hunter's place now?
The only thing I can control is what I do. So I suppose, yeah, I'll get in the car.
Right.
I think at that, I think Arsenault will join the two of you because he's a little dumbfounded right now.
My plan is to B&E. I don't know what I'm going to find when I get there, but
oh yeah, no, absolutely. Fucking Ryder is all in. He's all in on the.
Chuck a brick through the window and see what's going on.
I do have locksmith, so
I knew you would. I knew you would.
Listen, all right. Listen, in Bellawood, what happens in Bellawood doesn't generally stay. It does not generally stay in Bellawood. All right. Okay. All right.
He tried to deny it, but truth will come out eventually that you can deal with locks.
Well, he said earlier I can borrow a car. I figured that out pretty quickly that you're a criminal.
All right, listen, all right. In the Marine Corps, they taught us how to improvise, adapt, and overcome. I came back home, still in the Marine Corps, by the way, enrolled in Miskatonic. He's saying this as we're driving to Hunter's place. He goes, enrolled in Miskatonic, failing at my fucking mechanics degree or whatever the hell it is I'm taking. I don't know anymore. And, well, see, a man with my particular set of skills needs a job. Yeah. and me and my buddy Thomas, let's just say a bunch of things fell off the back of a truck. It
First
gives you
name
a wink.
Thomas, last name Gunn.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Did his car start up after when we go to it? Because I know that there was an issue with the cars earlier. I don't mean to throw
I don't believe anyone started the car after we came here.
Well, he was just talking about getting in the car and driving away.
Yeah, I stopped him
Yeah.
because the body parts were stolen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now we're sitting in the car.
Okay.
Frank gave his exposition. He's gonna turn the keys.
And yeah, it starts up.
Okay. I just because there was a problem with the car.
Yeah, you're
before.
right. I know what you mean now. I was busy laughing at the response to the body part.
John talks. This is who I see. You're not far off the mark. All right. Listen, he was 18 and when he was in Bellawood. He's like 24 now, but he is ragged. All right.
Frank.
Oh yeah, the car starts off and you may go to, and then Virginia and Caroline went
Yeah,
to.
how far away is Virginia's place that she's staying at from Miskatonic?
It's not that far. It's a few blocks away from campus. She basically just walks everywhere, day to day.
Yeah, Caroline does the same thing.
All right, so
she's going to tell you about what happened to her a couple years ago at when she went to visit her old family home in Schenectady. She just kind of tells you in a very calm voice that she was visiting the old estate that her family had moved away from, but her grandparents still lived there, and she was down in the basement and she encountered a rat that looked like her grandfather. And this rat that looked like her grandfather told her strange things. And after that, she went to Arkham Asylum. And ever since then, she's felt a little different. And she kind of looks to you and says, "You write, you research the supernatural for your books, don't you?"
Yes, I do.
Have you heard of anything like this?
That's a good question. Have I, Keeper?
no, because you don't have any Cthulhu mythos.
Yeah, I don't
here.
have any mythos.
So because the mythos is supernatural in this universe, so
Yeah.
you only have knowledge of your
Cult. Yeah. No, I mean I know about, things like real world witches, which is possibly why, the dean called me in for this. And I make things up, of course, and I've read a lot of folklore and a lot of occult texts, but I've never experienced anything myself. That must have been very hard for you, dear. I'm so sorry.
She kind of wrings her hands and says, "My fiance, my friends, my employer, my managers, they all say I'm back to normal, but
you don't feel it."
she just kind of laughs really inappropriately and says, "I'm something else. I'm something else now. Obviously."
Do you
It
think
felt so good. It felt so good when it came out of my hands. And she just kind of doesn't say anything else after that.
it's interesting you think the power came from you? I thought maybe it was something watching out for you, protecting you. But if it was your own power, I don't know. I don't know that that's a bad thing, dear. You don't seem like a bad person to me. She gives you a little squeeze around the shoulders.
He kind of smiles and says, I was expecting you to run off in the night after I said that.
No, are you kidding? I've looked forward to finding out something that was real and unexplainable all my life. My grandmother used to read cards, and she's always been able to find water on the land. And
It's good to have a dowser. Would you like to come in for tea?
I would love to, thank you.
All right, then we will switch over to the other three who are arriving at or what do we call it? The artist studio.
Yeah, that's what I assume it is. It said studio.
Yeah, it's a very modest studio, maybe downtown Arkham, we'll say.
Alrighty. When we roll up, is it part of like a complex, or is it just like street facing, a bunch of studios, or do you have to like enter an area? Like is it like a bunch of like interior doors, like an apartment complex?
Yeah, it's that one. Yep.
Oh,
Bunch of
okay.
interior.
Alrighty. I guess I'm gonna have to pretend like I got a reason to be there, but I'll try to gain access through the front door, see if it's locked.
It's like an entrance anyone can use. So you walk into the hallways where the apartment will lie, and you arrive at his studio specifically, but no, the door is locked to get into there.
Wow, if only I had a key. No, I do not.
No, you don't have a key to Cecil Hunters, please.
Look out, and Ryder comes up. He takes a bobby pin from his boots,
All right.
grabs a turning tool from his other boot, and goes to work on the lock. Might take him a while.
And as you do that, the lights in the hallway shut off, increasing the difficulty by 1. Give me a hard guess locksmith. So you're now fumbling around in the dark.
0. 0 plus 6.
All right, you pop the door open. We'll say with complete quiet.
After you, Doctor.
I step inside and go for the light switches or whatever. I don't know if they would have electricity in these places, but maybe.
We'll say this one does. He's an artist. He probably needs a light.
Alrighty.
You flick the switch a few times. It doesn't come on at first. You flip it back and forth, and eventually it stubbornly flicks on.
Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. I survey the area. I'm going to keep my eye out for, obviously, any like immediate threats, like people or like really dangerous, like precarious situations. Let's say there's, I don't know, like a bucket of paint about to fall off of something. I don't want to create an alarm, and I don't want to put myself at risk. So if there's like, I don't know, like knives out or anything like that, power tools, to stay away from all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, to reward that extreme success, it was so quiet you getting in there that the person in the bathroom didn't hear you, and you hear ruffling around in there.
Alrighty, I just kind of freeze up. I don't do any kind of hand signals because I'm not like a military guy or anything. I just like freeze when I hear it, and then I kind of slowly look over my shoulder to see if they heard the same thing.
And they did, yes.
Arsenault puts his fingers up to his lips as if to say that he knows to be quiet.
I look at Frank.
What do you want me to do, Doc?
And I just kind of motion toward the door, point toward it, and then I just make like a motion as though like hit him on the head or something.
Yeah.
Arsenault will hand you a wrench.
For the door?
He points to his head. Don't hit me.
Sorry, fucking Frank is lost right now. The door?
There's someone
opening the door.
We heard someone in the bathroom inside the apartment or studio.
Oh yeah.
So we want you to assail that person.
Consider it done. I roll stealth.
You roll yourself.
Oh jeez.
No,
push that.
That's exactly what happens. You hear a loud creak is heard in the apartment, and the door opens, and there's actually 2 men in there that were looking through they must have been rummaging through things in there. They're wearing ill-fitting gray suits. They have wide-brimmed fedoras.
It's the feds.
Oh God!
And they look at you. One is older, one is younger. It says, "Is one of you Frank?"
Who's asking?
I'm asking. And he taps his his pants leg. There's imitate that he has a gun in there.
Well, touche. I too also have a gun. So who the fuck are you?
Well, that's not important. I asked you, are you Frank?
Maybe.
I'm gonna take that for a yes. Lucy Stone told us about you.
Ooh, figured.
Yeah, you figured?
Yeah.
Can't trust a dame in this city, huh?
Can't trust a dame anywhere.
Well, she sold you out to us. She told us everything that you were looking into Professor Leiter.
Well, you didn't mention anything about the girl fancying you.
I don't think she did. They never do.
Well, she did say it was a real shame. She felt bad about it.
Well, what is it you boys want?
Well, Leiter owes our casino a great deal of money. We've come to collect it.
Oh, cool. I got your money right here.
You wait a minute. He's in debt for 11,000. Do you have $11,000?
Yeah, it's in the car. I was gonna come over here and drop it off for you.
I don't think so, Frank. We know all about the forgery business from Lucy.
And you gentlemen are from the casino, yes?
Yes.
Well, you will have to wait for
Dr. Sanderson. Do You mind talking to these gentlemen for a moment? I gotta go grab something.
You leave
Well,
this room. If you leave this room, we will shoot both of these men.
I
Yeah,
don't,
well,
I don't see a problem here. It seems like these men are owed money and they're attempting to recoup. I mean, that seems perfectly logical to me.
it is
Yes,
very
maybe
logical.
we could help you to find a way to get paid. Yes?
And what would that way be?
Well, let us have a conversation.
We're
We don't
talking.
have the money. We're not going to pay this dead man's debt, but there must be a bill. There must be something that
Wait,
is.
we're not actually sure he's even dead. We haven't seen his body.
Oh, he's dead as fuck, man.
And you can prove that.
Well, we are not at liberty to prove anything, but the three of us saw the body.
It's
Well,
in
Well,
the
if you
morgue.
we want to see it.
gentlemen, gentlemen, if I may, I did happen to pocket the autopsy report, and
Ah, yes.
I wasn't planning on running into you, so it would be highly illogical for me to have prepared this document as a
And
forgery itself.
and
And I
and like I said, it's in the car, right, Doctor?
Yes,
no, I have it right here in my bag.
No, no,
I
you're
don't pick up
mistaking, right?
I don't pick up on your on your bags at
God
all.
damn it!
And
Oh,
I open it up and I because I have my doctor bag. I assume I always have it with me, right? This is my treasured
yeah,
Oh
possession.
yeah. Yep.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I pull out this envelope and I hand it to these gentlemen, which keep in mind says this dude had a heart attack or whatever. It doesn't say ghosts got him.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
motions towards the other one who takes it. He looks at their eyes meet. He shakes his head no at the older guy and he says, "We want to see the body. They can write these up anytime they want. We've done that quite a few in our town."
Legitimately, I assume.
Oh, of
well,
course. He
I
smiles.
think I think that this should suffice for now. Maybe we could arrange a viewing when some things have been dealt with. Can we make this
Well,
arrangement for you?
I don't believe any of us have the power to make that arrangement, but I think Dean Bryce Belland could do that.
Do you know where the body is? Yes or no?
Yeah, it's at the college.
If you take us to it, we'll be more agreeable to things.
Again, gentlemen, let us. We are not uh, able to just go into the certain pieces of the college. Let us uh, make an arrangement. This whole matter can be dealt with.
We're not grieving family, sir. We're not making arrangements. We're just walking in wherever it is you're taking us.
Or else what?
Well, then we're back where we were, with guns drawn, and threats of violence. Is that what you want? You look like you can handle
Eh,
yourself, but can they? Can you dodge bullets? I can get off a shot pretty fast.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just a college student, man.
I don't know. You got a certain way you carry yourself.
What, bigger balls than you?
Did you serve in the war, son?
Maybe. What's it to you?
Well, so did I. I can tell an army man.
Well, see, that's the thing. You might be Army. I was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, that would explain the bullshit attitude you got. I see.
Oh, that would explain the small testicles you got.
Will you take us to the body or not?
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna get in your car. We're gonna get in ours, and you're gonna lead us right to where it is.
Sure.
Any funny business, we will fire. Not a problem.
Do you
Sure.
gentlemen mind if I were to stay here? There is something that I need to look into that has nothing to do with this.
Sure, you can stay here.
Hey, Doc, you want to stay behind? I can take these fine gentlemen to see the body.
I don't have a problem with that if that's what you choose to do.
When I step, I'm gonna like just kind of like meander past them, holding my wet coat, and
You know what we're gonna do, gentlemen? I'm gonna leave my associate here with the other two. You're gonna lead me to the body. If I don't return, he will be under strict orders to shoot these two men.
do they have their guns out, or they were just implying that they had guns?
He just implied. I don't think
All
we
right,
actually pulled, and this that was my impression.
I like I said, I was kind of just like looking at the shelves, what's going on in the room, and stepping past them. And when I do, I was gonna turn around and put my gun into the one in the back's back.
Well, they're standing in the bathroom.
I thought you said they were in the living room.
No, you guys are in the room. They're in the bathroom. That's where you surprised them
Oh,
at, or attempted to
so they
surprise them
so
at.
we had this whole conversation with them while they were both standing in the bathroom.
That's correct. One's in the hallway.
Cool.
One's like in the doorway. The one's behind him.
Okay.
It's just sus.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm not going to do that. I'm just kind of meandering around the living room, looking at bookshelves and artwork and whatever. Just trying to act casual, not like we had business here, and so I'd like to just stay here and finish our business.
All right. As I said, I'll leave my associate here. Strict orders to shoot you both in the face.
Who's he leaving? The young guy?
Yeah, he's leaving the young guy.
All right.
And you, Frank,
Does-
out the door first. Go
Does
to
the guy
sure.
does the guy stay in the bathroom?
He takes his place in the. Well, we haven't actually done anything. Has Frank actually walked out?
Yeah. So again, it's worth noting that I actually didn't take your wrench from you
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you were
the
too
entire
confused.
thing was happening. Yeah. No, it's just like yeah. Yeah. Frank's walked out at this point. He's
Alright.
not gonna take him to the campus.
So the older man has followed you. The younger man is in the apartment with you.
Yep.
And we're just gonna jump over to the other two. We can probably have to resolve that next week, which is cool because at least we know a nice little what's gonna happen. And we are at Virginia's home. She hears a knock on the door.
Okay, so they're both drinking their tea, I think, and they're kind of calming down.
Were you expecting anyone? What time is it, Keeper?
Oh boy, it's gotta be like 11 o'clock, I'll say. It's been a whole day. It's been a whole ass day.
I'm not gonna walk to the door. I'm just gonna go upstairs and say, why don't we go see who it is?
Caroline pulls her gun and has it ready and is going to follow Virginia wherever she's leading.
Okay, so it's like a little townhouse, and there's like living area downstairs. And then there's like a bedroom and bathroom upstairs. So we're gonna go into the bedroom where there's a window looking out. We're gonna see if we can see anything or anybody out there.
Yeah, you see as best you can in the dark. You see a paunchy, maybe he's sweating a bit, and oh man, he's maybe a little overweight. He's got thick glasses on. I guess that's probably all you can see from your vantage point.
And no one we recognize, right? No one we've dealt with already.
No that you talked to now.
Virginia just kind of sighs and says, "Just try to find a place where you can see me but not be seen." Okay, I'm going to answer the door.
All right, I'll cover you.
All right, Virginia's going to answer the door.
Do you have like a hall closet in the front or something like that? People to hang their coats? They can kind of like duck in there.
Yeah, there'd be like an alcove or something at least.
Yeah, okay.
So she's gonna open the door a crack and she's gonna shout, "Who is it?"
Yes, is this Virginia's home? I got the address from the dean. I'm Professor Roach. You were supposed to speak to me today, but I never saw you.
It's a bit late.
Well, I'm aware of that, but these matters can't wait.
And why can't it wait until the morning?
Because I don't want to talk to you in the morning. I want to talk to you now. Just open the door,
She's gonna
woman.
close the door.
You just hear the loud knocking again.
God, obnoxious man. I'm gonna open the door and say, "Well, come on, let's make this quick."
Well,
And
thank
I'm gonna
you.
point to
So you
one of the
can be
chairs in the
reasonable, he says, and he
parlor.
walks in. He's like looking around. You don't have much in here, do you?
Well, there's a chair. You can sit in it.
I'll stand if you don't mind, madam. I'm wet from the rain anyways. And you see that he's probably dragged in mud with his shoes.
She kind of ignores that and says, you must have a damn good reason to come here at this hour."
Well, I simply wanted to deal with the matter today. Have you found the papers?
She just kind of exhales and says, "We're trying to figure out where they went. They've
Ah,
changed hands many times, it seems."
well, that lighter, he's quite the bastard, if you don't mind me saying so.
She doesn't say anything to that. She just kind of looks him up and down. I'm gonna do a psychology check.
Yep, go for it.
See if I can get a read on anything. Okay.
Nope, you try
I
to
guess
read his
my
body
nerves are a little
language.
frayed and
Yeah. Well, I simply
kinda-
wish you know what you found out so far. I realize you
What's
probably
that?
don't look at me with much happiness, but I am here to help.
Well, how can you help?
Well, if I know what you found, maybe I can provide comments upon them.
She's gonna sit down in the chair.
I hear there was some kind of altercation earlier. Can you tell me anything about that, at least?
She said, she says, someone was a young man. He pulled a knife. He pulled a knife on me and my friend.
Well, that,
Well, while we were leaving the bathroom, and he ran.
did you chase after him?
I tried to, but he got away.
He got away. Okay. Well, I do know that there was a young man that tried to be the assistant of Mr. Leiter. I refuse to call him a professor any longer. I believe his name was Anthony Flinders.
Anthony Flinders. What did he look like?
Well, he looks like any other student. I don't really he looks at his glasses and he kind of peers at you hard.
Like any other student, right? Do you think he was after the papers?
Well, you might have, there's always a chance he was trying to get close to Leiter to find the papers, yes? I don't know if you were
He seemed
told, but
intense.
I'm supposed to go over the papers after him, and I never found them in there, so it was stolen after his death. I can confirm that much.
Nods. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. He was an intense young man, Anthony Flinders, if that's who he was.
Yes,
Wouldn't
there's all sort of
surprise me if he
stories
was
about
after
him
something like
and
that.
violence and all that sort of thing.
It seems that misfortune always falls on people who are seeking these papers. Professor, I would be cautious if I were you. I think there may be something more to these papers.
Well, let me be frank with you, madam. I'm looking to get a promotion out of all this. I'm looking for tenure. If uh
Okay.
if I help you, will you help me? If you give me the papers, I would greatly appreciate it.
Well, how could you help me? I work for the library.
Hmm. Well, what would you want?
She just kind of sighs and says, it's been a long day. I'm putting pieces together in my head right now, and I was about to go to sleep, but I promise I'll talk to you more about this tomorrow.
He reaches into his coat and he pulls out a document. Now, I did find this. I didn't tell this to the dean. I wanted to keep it quiet. If I will show it to you in a good faith, and it
He
has
takes a look at it.
uploaded, and then I will leave you to it, and I will expect some sort of update from you. And he turns heel
Of
and he
course.
leaves the building. And did the woman in the closet hear all that?
Yep, I sure did. Did he leave the papers with her?
Yeah, he handed it to her.
Okay, cool. So I get to read them too.
Yeah, I can show you. You can read it. She read a bunch of things today.
Okay, so it says 6/11/1926, I assume.
Yes.
Finally, the Hobbs House Library is transferred to Miskatonic for a more professional assessment of its worth and significance. I put a strong pressure on my superiors so that the assessment of the papers would fall to me. I'm now responsible for the cataloging and inventorying project. There will definitely be something of value in all of this. 7/20/1926. The documents quickly proved to be a godsend, as amidst all this papers I discovered a bound sheaf of previously unknown correspondence and evidently materials from the Arkham witch trials of the 1690s. I believe all these hysterical and superstitious reports of New England history are worth at least a small fortune. 8/28/1926. My money is running out, and some unfriendly casino creditors are threatening to violently resolve the problem. My debt has reached 11,000, and I believe that if I don't get this sorted out sooner, I'm going to end up dead. 9/4/1926. I've given the original trial files to Hunter so he can start producing the forgeries right away. Wick, as usual, has already shown too much interest in the negotiations, but I believe that maybe I can get more profit through other buyers. Oh boy.
And we're coming up on time, and there's not really time to start anything else. So, what are your two ladies' plans? And we'll end it on that.
Well, it's too late to,
Mhm.
contact anyone normally, but I think that it's going to be very interesting because I know the gentleman we're talking about going to Hunter's place. That sounds like that's the last place the papers were. She'll want to know what they found in the morning, but she also thinks following up with Wick might be important because if the papers weren't with Hunter, maybe Wick stole them, especially if we learn that the creditors were still chasing him. So they either didn't find something, or if they did, they didn't know its value. But if they didn't find anything valuable to recoup their costs and they're still looking, maybe Wick has the papers. So Abner Wick would be the next thing that at least Caroline would want to go and check out.
All right, and that's where we'll end our session with the guys in a standoff with the mafia, the mafia boys, and the girls with their plan to see Abner Wick.
And
Fuck
Frank leading the older guy to a
Yep.
fucking ambush.
We'll resolve all that next time. Yep. Thank you, everyone. That was great.
Thank
That's
you.
so fun.
I'm about to
Yeah.
lead this guy to meet my friend Thomas Gunn.
Say hello to my little friend.